Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Click R3 number 48. A little late. A little late. I was not doing steroids. You can't prove anything. Can't prove any of that.
Steroids?
Uh,
What?
PSN could be off. Like, could be offline. Could be offline. We weren't offline for a month though, just for like 5 minutes. Okay. How's everyone doing? Ryan, how's it going?
Doing all right, John. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. Just running a little behind. A little behind.
And
Nothing too crazy though.
Whose fault was that?
Well, just don't have kids.
That's the advice, huh? Don't have kids.
That's the advice. Just don't have kids. Just don't
Okay.
have kids. That's all.
Sound
It's always
wisdom from
always something. It's always something.
a sound endorsement from John over here.
There's always something. Always something's happening. I'm telling you. Oh well. And in fact, it was a whole thing for Sony too. Like there's all kinds of stuff that happened to them. So it's not alone. I'm not alone in it. I'm not alone.
Yeah, that's true. There's been a lot going on. I mean, we're actually what 3-ish something weeks behind on news since our last show was covering the state of play primarily. But after that state of play, we also had various other showcases going on too, and then a fallout from those showcases. So we're busy, John.
Yeah, because so we did the reaction, a couple weeks ago for that whole thing with Sony, and then next week we'll be off because of too many games. So everyone will be everywhere, all over the place. So we won't be able to do it then. So we were trying to line it back up so we get back on track, back on schedule here. So that means that we'll be good. We'll be good. So after this week, we'll be back on like that July 2nd-ish time period.
So somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll have GTA 6 to talk about too. So it's
GTA 6 pre-orders are opened, John.
Yeah,
first story.
Next week. Oh, that was our first story, really? Oh wow.
Well, I mean, you're mentioning it, right? June 25th.
I am
official art. Official box art.
I like it. I think the box art looks good. It looks like Vice City.
Well, it's classic GTA, the paneling with the separate key art.
Collage, the collage going on there. Yeah, it looks good. It looks really good. See, even Daniel gets in there immediately. GTA 6 pre-orders confirmed for the 25th. Black Ops 1 and 2 July. It's true. It's like this is like 2013 all over again.
That would be one way to put it. Yes, it's like 2013 all over again.
It is. We're playing because you're playing Black Ops 2 holiday 2012 leading up to GTA coming out, in September 2013. Now we're going to be playing Black Ops 1 and 2 technically, but Black Ops 2 on the PlayStation leading up to GTA 6 coming out in November.
What is the price going to be, John?
Man, everyone's so curious. I ran a poll on this and people do seem to be like bought in completely with the idea of it being $80. And all that's telling me is people have already gone, all right, yeah, $80 is cool. I'm buying it.
It's one game where they can, I don't like ever saying it, but it's the one game they can get away with it.
It is. It absolutely is. I mean, I think there are a couple games like those dream titles that if they announce it, people would go, well, I mean, like if Half-Life 3 was $80, people would go, okay, well, yeah, I kind of got to buy it. Stuff like that. This is, but imagine if it was 70. I think that would actually do some damage to the industry, to be honest.
Well, that's what's been said by, folks like Matthew Ball and stuff, right? It's this argument that it conceivably they should be charging more for that game just for the sake of other publishers finally sort of, that are sweating bullets thinking, man, this is a really tough selling games at 70. God forbid. It's like 70 is not enough.
No, I'm telling you, if it really does roll in like that, man.
I mean, they like Zelnick made comments that sort of inferring. I mean, I think there's a lot that could be implied from that quote. That was back during that Icon event in Las Vegas, but like that we have a responsibility to offer a lot of value. I don't know if you could perceive that as like, oh, we're just going to charge 70 like everybody else.
Yeah, but also they've been pressured with the $100 price point this whole time. So he could be responding to the idea of it being $100 by saying, we're 80's already been established. Like Nintendo did it with Mario Kart. It's out there. A game has sold millions of copies technically at the $80 price point. But the $100 might be like he might be thinking, oh, I'll respond to the $100 one and not the $80 one, So I do believe it's $80. That would be my assumption.
You're going with
79.99.
it.
That's what I'm going with. And I think there's going to be like a $200 edition or something. You know what I mean? Like that's going to happen.
Well, that's the other, like the counterpoint is that they don't have to charge 80 because there will be a higher edition. And because of that higher edition, just off that alone, their average selling price will be higher than 70. So they'll get more money. They'll get way more money than they did in 2013.
They will. And the other thing is they're going to sell microtransactions in their GTA Online game. So I think they do want a somewhat, I'll say, reasonable entry. And $80 is still high, but it's not $100. So I guess they can look at it that way. If it's so, I think who said, oh yeah, Daniel says, imagine if it was 60. Dude, if it was $60, that would oh man, the industry would lose its mind if it was 60, but I don't think it will be. I think at bare minimum, they've established that $70 is easily approachable. And some people might go, wow, it's only $70. Which is crazy because remember when 70 showed up and people were losing their mind over that. Now it's kind of like, oh, it's only $70. Thank you. Like they're thanking them for making it 70. So, and I'm so interested to see it. Because here's the other thing. It's pre-orders open on the 25th. Dude, retailers are going to have that price, I assume, a couple days before. I bet it leaks out. I bet it leaks early.
Like you don't have to wait till the 25th. Like we are probably going to get this information. I would argue soon, like really soon.
Yep.
Because like the second it's on some sort of back end, it's over. Like the headlines are going to go out there pretty fast, unless it's one of those early listings that is just assuming what the price is, and then we have another shitstorm about it being 70 and actually it's 80 because people are going to jump the gun on this game just to like be the first to break the news.
Yeah.
And that information is going to spread like wildfire, misinformation if it is.
Yeah, it's we should get a new trailer next week too for it. I assume they're gonna then align it with PlayStation for their marketing, so it'll probably be like captured on PS5 or PS5 Pro again or something. So I think that a lot will happen next week for this, and partially they're just preparing, like get everyone ready. Hey, next week this is gonna happen. So people are mentioning that like logos are changing on the storefronts, and I think they're expecting some pretty heavy. Although I will say I don't really know why you need to pre-order a digital item now when it's not even out till November, but some people want to just lock it in. Like, you know what? Hey, I'm buying the game. I already know what I want to get the download done, and that's it. So,
well, for folks like me that want to apparently secure one of the many millions of discs they're printing, that's the real concern here.
You think? Here's the other thing I'm curious about, and we should know from the retail. I bet you the retail listing will say this. Will they ship it with 2 Blu-rays?
Well, it's a safe assumption, but you're assuming it needs 2 discs.
I bet you. I mean, yeah, I bet you it would. I bet you it's gonna be more than 100 gigabytes.
I mean, probably. So, but this is the whole new environment, right? It's been so long since such a large game like this came out. Actually, didn't Red Dead 2 ship on 2 discs, or am I misremembering?
It did. I have it on the Xbox. It's on like 2 discs. Yeah, they have a small disc and everything.
Yeah, well, like you naturally want to think, well, it's been since 2013, but it's like, wait, it's Rockstar. Like they've shipped games more recent than that. So, if they were willing to do Red Dead 2 discs on that, and that was, well, that would have been what, 7 years ago now, 6 years ago?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's 2018.
Yeah, even longer. So, I mean, that's still a significant amount of time since then. But now publisher trends are changing to content downloads required. So I don't know. That makes me nervous. But then also there's likely going to be various reprints of this game over time. So if you're like worried about a Gold Master, I would think we'll have an option at some point down the road.
Yeah, I'm ready for this game to finally get some information. There's just been so much discussion around how this is going to work. So I just want to get answers for this game.
If you still play the game on PS4, by the way, they're offering free upgrades. Like just straight up, if you're on PS4, they're like, we'll migrate your story, your online character, the PS5 versions, like free if you own the PS4 one now.
Yeah, why not? I mean, they're still playing it. It's like they're one of your best customers. So go ahead, give them upgrading from coach to first class. Sure, why not? Toasty says it's 106 degrees Fahrenheit here in Phoenix. Seeing Ryan with a hoodie is crazy work.
Well, Toasty, you got to remember, I'm in Buffalo, New York, and we have very bipolar weather. So right now it is a balmy 63, and for some reason it says beach hazards statement on this weather widget I have set up. It's been windy today, really windy. Power lines going down, Toasty. That's what we got going on over here. So times are different.
I'm gonna have to get GTA 6 physically though. I will because
you should.
I think the cover art looks really good. I think it's going to be a nice physical copy to have.
I hope they do what they've done with 5 and 4, which is paying that little extra to emboss the paper on the box art.
Oh, yeah,
really
I know what you're
cool.
talking about. So it has like the kind of the bumpy texture to it.
Yeah, well, 4 did that with bumpy texture. 5 added like a holographic like sort of layer to the 5. It wasn't embossed, but they added, so they always like, they just go that extra mile. And I know this is such a useless conversation talking about the paper printed for this game, but
well,
it's, I mean, you know, I'd like to see it on there, especially if I am paying $80 for it.
It is one of those, I wouldn't even mind if I assume there's a map in there too, right?
Well, hey, uncertain times, right? Like it's been a while. Who knows?
It's a special game though. It's a special game though.
It's a special game. But then, you know, when you put a big map in there, maybe a thick manual's unlikely, but the more paper you put in there, then when you ship those discs, the weight of the boxes, that's money. I don't know. I would like to go to a midnight launch for it though, because stores are going to do it. And it's it's going to feel like the early 2000s all over again.
I think I'll go to the midnight release for GTA 6. I think I'll do it.
Yeah. I think you gotta go there and like document, like on the scene, like interview people.
Yeah, he thinks so.
Because then you're going to have like young people there too that have probably never done a midnight launch, and you could ask them, and so what's it like? What do you think about this? Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Which parents buying you this game? I got to interview them. How about we start there? 10-year-old. Where's your parent?
Embarrassing. My grandfather would do it for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, he didn't give a shit. He's like, yeah. Clerk would be like, you know, there's like drugs and whores in this, right? Yeah.
I do have to go. I'm trying to think of the last game midnight release, not system, but game, because I don't count the Switch too, even though there are games there that he picked up. That was a system. You know, I'm trying to it's been a long time. I can't even remember which one it was.
Ragnarok 2022. God of War Ragnarok.
I don't even think they did midnight release around me for that one.
I went to, because I think it landed the same day as like a Madden or something. I can't remember exactly, but it was like the GameStop I grew up with. And that was the last one where it was like, oh, we're doing a midnight thing for like these 2 games. And I pulled up at like 8:30. And I want to say there were 20 to 30-ish people outside. And you didn't have to like line up, but like I put down my window just to like hear the camaraderie. There were people there for Ragnarok. Yeah.
I see people. Pokemon is one that I see get brought up a lot. Like apparently midnight release, they're still pretty big for Pokemon. And then Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh yeah, New York City firefighter say helped him get through the academy 2 years ago. Keep me going my days off.
Man, you're doing like really important real work.
Yes, we're here to complain about random stuff in gaming.
How do you feel about all these flammable papers we're talking about here?
Yeah. Huh? Daniel says, "Imagine physical map collector's edition exclusive."
That's fine.
Could do it. Are you going to get the collectors for this thing, Ryan? If you go to midnight, like like the nice, if it's like a cool collectors, are you going for it?
It takes a lot for me to do that now. I used to buy them all the time. And then after a while, it was like, why am I spending $200 for a weird figure, like a tablecloth and these like little trinkets? I've made it a habit to like open the ones I have and like use them.
Put them up somewhere, yeah.
No, I've got like themed tote bags in my car. I've got like a coffee talk thing downstairs.
Yeah,
like coffee syrups. The mindset was I can't touch these. They're excluded. Now I don't do that. back to your question. I guess it's got to be cool. Maybe if it's like a tackle box or something. I don't know. Another safety deposit box.
Toasty says they put Strauss Zelnick in WW2K. They did. What game are we putting Herman in, and what would his entrance music be?
Don't put him in anything.
You don't want him immortalized at all.
I don't think it would be no good to have him in there. You know what would be shared around on Twitter in that case? You know, they wouldn't treat his game model well.
They would
Depends
not.
on no.
They would not. Lestria says GTA 6 maybe the first collector's edition I ever buy for a game.
Well, I mean, it's like that kind of game. I can see why people would want to do it for this one.
Fiamiri says bald race odds latest. John is 7-4, Ryan's 2-1, and the draw is 9-2. It really comes down to whichever one of us gives up and just shaves our head first.
Oh, see, that's not going to be me because I'm actually on medication to keep my hair.
Okay, see, I'm in trouble. I'm already behind April then.
I have no problem saying it. I'm on meds for it, man. I got to protect what's left.
You got to protect what's left.
Yeah, I get it. Listen, here's the thing. I'm not above it. Like, if the meds stop working, I'm in Turkey. I don't think I can.
You're gonna yeah.
I don't think I can.
He's on the
like
plane.
having hair.
He's on the plane.
I'm on the plane. Catch me outside.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Okay. Ryan's gonna hold out.
I think I need hair. I don't know. I don't think I could do it. But kudos to all the men out there that are brave enough to do it. All right. Well, you spent a lot of time talking about paper and male pattern baldness. Let's move on to some stories that we need to catch up on here.
We didn't get this one. Bespoke says, I hope the physical only comes in a red greatest hits case. Herman out.
I'd be so pissed.
Red. They bring it back just for that.
I'd be so pissed.
Yeah, that red. I don't need that. I don't need that in my life, Bespoke. Let's not wish that.
I mean, the damn thing is that program did not happen on PS5. We're like well into the life cycle. They did not do the greatest hits program.
Yeah, that's true. We haven't got. Well, that means that would also mean that they have to make some of the games cheaper.
I know. Well, that Sony's idea of cheap now is 30. Like the lowest they'll go is 30.
But like they'd have to keep it there, right? That's the idea. Like Demon's Souls launch game still full price. Yep. So they would have to permanently discount it and then reintroduce, like do a reprint of it or whatever, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great program for third parties, but even then, no. I'm happy with that. Don't saturate like the physical, like secondhand market with like those red cases, you know? So I'm cool with it. All right, let's spitfire the fast ones here before we get into the big stuff. PS Plus Extra and Premium's June lineup. They did make a change with this, John. So the whole lineup didn't go live like June 16th. It would have been 2 days ago now. In the US, UK, and Japan, the games are rolling out on different dates. So June 10th, Sonic Cross Shadow Generations came out. The 16th was Final Fantasy 16. And then if you were a premium member, you got Guitar Man, the PS2 classic. The 23rd is Kingdom Come Deliverance and Life is Strange Double Exposure. June 30th is Farming Simulator 25, Blades of Fire, and Black Desert. So they're doing this now, which is seemingly kind of annoying because the whole like lineup doesn't drop the same day. I imagine that's like to give the games breathing room or something, but now we always have to think about that when the lineups are announced. And then Guitar Man has trophies. So big deal there.
Oh, good. I actually downloaded it. It was like 10 gigabytes or something. Wow, it feels pretty large for Guitar Man. I don't know.
Yeah. I was like, whenever I'm at the transaction screen for it, though, it's like a lot of the PS1, PS2, and PSP classics slightly smaller on PS5.
Yeah, no, they are.
Yeah. Not sure how much the Kraken decompression is really helping with an emulator, but that's still cool. PS Plus Extra and Premium games that are leaving in July, so you have about a month left to play these games. That's Bomber Crew, Clash, Artifacts of Chaos, Curse to Golf, Get Even, 100 Days Winemaking Simulator, Infinite Mini Golf, 1 Shambara Origin, Risk of Rain 2, Roki, Source of Madness, Space Crew, Legendary Edition, and Tropico 6. Those games are leaving Extra and Premium in July. Then, John, we had a big update going on with Sony removing more shovelware. It's been multiple weeks that this has been going on. So I'm going to get the audience here brought up to speed. Since the beginning, In January, they took off 1,200 games. That was from Thigh Games. In March, they kicked off 800 games from Nostra Games. In April, they got rid of 3 more publishers: Go Games Console Publisher, VRC Forge Studios, and Welding Byte SRL. Now, the new ones here, Webnetic, they've been kicked off. They had 1,200 games, which is not 1,200 unique titles, but as we've explained before, they might ship one unique game, but it's got a PS4, PS5 version. Then there's EU variants, Japan, Asia, English, and so they do stacks to sell to trophy hunters. But that's how there's like 1,200 games from one publisher. They were kicked off, and they put out a statement on Twitter saying they'll continue the journey on Xbox, Nintendo, and Steam. I'm not sure if that's a threat.
That sounds like a threat. I was going to say.
Yeah. And then Asyntha was kicked off. They had 278 games. They too put out a statement. I don't know why they're feeling the need to do this, but they said buy their games before they're gone because they're trying to pay rent. So, I mean, I can empathize with that, but
okay.
Releasing some pretty poor games. Zentillon Games will have all their titles delisted soon. I haven't checked. I think they might already be kicked off, but they had 200 games across 1,300 stacks. And then one publisher, Zeneater Team, they're delisting their own games. Not all of them, but they're delisting some, which they haven't put out a new statement yet, but they did say they're going to keep making games on PlayStation. Mm-hmm. There's been speculation that they're maybe getting ahead of the delisting. Like maybe, oh, let me get rid of my like crap games because I don't want to like mess up my PlayStation partners account. So in total, we're at like 3,800 games removed from PSN. That includes all the regional ones, but 3,800 stacks of games removed from the PlayStation Store.
I'm still curious how Sony is like viewing this, what their internal policy is around which games come down and which ones stay up. I assume they probably have some kind of algorithm or AI thing that they're using at least to scan and come up with like they'll like flag certain publishers or whoever's on there and just give a look with an actual human to see what they're dealing with. But they are not shy of just knocking 1,000 or so games out by way of just removing the entirety of that publisher's library just immediately. And I mean, we see the games. I don't know if you're buying it, Ryan, but I look at those and go, yeah, I'm not playing this guy. Just don't really appeal to me at all. And they're pretty obvious when you start to see that they are mostly just flips as to why Sony's like, we probably don't need to keep these in the recently released section on PlayStation, clogging it up.
I think it's a policy that they've had, but they're only just now getting serious about enforcing it, especially because of how many there are. And they're like all very like they're asset flips, basically. Like one game is structurally the same as all the other ones.
Yeah. With especially the AI, it's gonna keep ramping up. Like there's gonna be an acceleration of game releases with development, especially with, I mean, if you think about it now with Unreal Engine, that's getting AI integrated in completely to where it can help you. It can just mostly, I assume, develop a large majority of the game for you in probably an hour. That's going to be tough. Then these companies who are already making hundreds of games a year are probably going to make like thousands of games a year.
It does encourage the right behavior, though. I mean, if you have one studio going, oh, crap, I better delist my own stuff. I want to keep making games. Like, hey, kudos. It looks like there's genuinely some movement, and we can see that it's like generating the right behavior pattern that they want from their partners. So pretty good there. Now,
how about 30 platinums with just like junk shovelware games?
Now, Ben, you know damn well that that's not what we do on 30 platinums, because I have to add a little qualifier at the beginning of those videos saying, no, we're not doing these ones.
Because you can do it in like 10 minutes.
If you do those, it's not 30 in 30 days. It's like you'd have to like bump it up to like 1,000 in 30 days.
Hey, if you did 1,000, I'd be like, man, that's pretty cool. That'd also ruin your account.
To make it challenging, I'd probably do it on a separate profile. But now I can't do it. These games are getting delisted.
That's true too. That is true.
All right. I don't know if you saw this, John. There was a weird thing going on with people's profiles on PSN. So people were noticing on their play activity that games were popping up that they don't own and they've never played before. Very embarrassing games like Sex Shop Simulator and what was the other one? It was like weird. Yeah, Hentai Princess was on there. People are like, why are these games in my play activity? I've never touched these before. So what Sony did was they wiped people's play activity, didn't show anything. And then they came back up recently, only a few days ago. So it looks like whatever the issue was behind the scenes, it was fixed. Over on Twitter, Pork Poncho mentioned that it was some sort of exploit. Basically, the TLDR is that the way PSN operates, there's like three ways that the service is sort of broken down for how it tracks your activity. That's play activity, trophies, licenses. So there's like an API where people could like inject play activity onto a profile if they had the title ID for the game, and not the PSN ID, but the unique identifier of that PSN ID. So you could like submit something to the API and that would inject play activity onto a profile, even though you didn't play the game, you don't own it. And now it's all fixed. So really weird situation. I don't know.
The problem is these things will be looked at much, much more because of the whole thing that happened with Sony's like security issue. So anytime even like a little weird blip comes up, like some weird stuff that gets resolved, you'll be like, there's Sony again. It's another little thing on the pile there.
I know. That's the concern, is that anytime something happens regarding like security, it's uh-oh. Uh-oh. Good save though, too. If you actually did play Sex Shop Simulator, they could just be like, no, it was that thing that happened last
week. Thing that happened, yeah, not me. Don't look at me.
Yeah. All right, we got some PlayStation accessories. This is kind of old news, but the Flex Strike Fight Stick, that's coming out August 6th for $200. The 27-inch gaming monitor with the DualSense charging hook is coming out August 27th for $350. And then the Pulse Elevate wireless speakers still coming later, no confirmed date, but that there's no date and there's no price on that either. So it's really just the monitor and the Flex Strike. I don't know if you're looking, both pre-orders are open for the monitor and the Flex Strike right now, so you can already like secure these, but I don't know if you're interested in either one of these, John.
Nah, I don't know. I mean, the Fight Stick it's always cool to like try a Fight Stick out or something, but it's just, I'm not really into fighting games as much. So
right.
I've people have said that actually, because I saw the price tag on it, I said, okay. People have said that's actually a fair price. So
is it? Yeah. See, I wouldn't even know.
Yeah. People are saying it's about right. And even in some, I mean, I know most people who are really serious about fighting games are probably not going to use it wirelessly. It may be in like, fun matches here and there, but even down to like practicing, they want it wired so it's predictable in terms of latency. I can understand all that, but I mean, it's a nice looking Fight Stick. I know people like to also customize. I don't know what the customization's like on. I assume nothing. So, but they, it's a good looking Fight Stick. How about that?
The monitor is a QHD IPS display, 2560 1440 HDR, VRR, 20 hertz on PS5, 240 on PC.
Yeah, I don't really need a monitor either. The thing is, I am curious how many people have their PS5 plugged into a monitor.
So I have the Sony InZone, I think it's called M9.
Mm-hmm.
M9 or it's like the better one. There's the M3, I think it's called. That one's just a 1080p display, high refresh. This one's 4K. But I've been using this one. I only use it to record occasionally, though. I don't like play on it primarily or for like recreational.
That's what I mean. I assume this is being sold for somebody who's just like at their desk playing their PS5. I'm curious how many people are necessarily doing that. The PS5, of course, like at most consoles, just to me, you plug it into the living room, a bedroom, in more laid back setting than a monitor where you're expected to be, a couple feet from it.
Right. I think based on the specs too, it's not even a good price. I think you're just like paying for the novelty of like docking your DualSense underneath it.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be my assumption. Although you can, I mean, just if you're gonna be able to do that, you can make your own little setup right underneath the monitor. So you could get one of those charging, probably for the price of the monitor, and then also the price of the charging station, which is actually pretty nice for the DualSense. You get two of them. You can just put it right underneath the monitor that most likely has enough clearance anyway.
Yep. We've got various news stories for PlayStation Studio games since that state of play. So just some confirmed facts here about all these titles we're expecting. Wolverine is a linear game. We have the game director, Mike Daly, speaking with IGN, where he said, quote, I can say we did not set out to make an open world game or a sandbox game. What we really wanted was high octane, high intrigue, linear single player adventure, and the missions reflect that in their structure. The areas have different paths you could take. Stealth is optional. You could do it or you could not do it. You could jump straight into combat, and you can poke your nose around the nooks and crannies of the world to find things here and there, and some optional content and collectibles along the way. So confirmed, Wolverine is going to be linear single player.
It's fun. I don't know. I feel like I've seen so many open world games now. I see that linear one pop up for a big game, and I kind of go, okay, like kind of almost some relief with that. All right, I know definitively there's a start and end point here, and honestly, for this kind of a game, which again now that Jean Grey has been shown, I think is going to be them setting up what's going to be their own Marvel universe, just in video game form. So I'd rather them just tell me the story with obviously different stages and kind of go through the game.
Sure. Yeah, I saw a lot of people just anecdotally sort of like have that sigh of relief. Like they don't want this to be open world. And we saw like a follow-up tweet this past week from Insomniac confirming that like one second of gameplay from the recent trailer towards the end of it, like that montage portion, that was Logan and Tokyo, which we know there's like key like story locations. You'll be like bopping around kind of like an Uncharted, but I think that's the right move here, at least for a traversal anyway. You know, I think the only theory was if it was open world, then you'd be like traveling on the bike all the time. It's not a bad thing.
It would have you kind of like teleport basically by doing like an animation drive, or you'd actually just drive there like Days Gone or something.
Yeah, well, that's not a bad thing, but I think it's just refreshing to like, okay, like make this like basically the framework like a Ratchet and Clank, you know, have some open areas, but for the most part, you're going in one direction. God of War Lao Fei is coming soon. This is some relatively recent news because PlayStation was sending out some marketing emails, and they said in the email, the game's coming soon to PlayStation 5 consoles. Of course, we don't have a release year for this game, so people are wondering how soon is soon. Over on Twitter, our friend Nate the Hate chimed in, and he reiterated that the last he heard is that the game was targeting the first half of 2027. It could change, but that was the hope at one point. I recall, John, the rumors for this game, even before we knew it was a Fei game, that it would be 2027. Like,
yes,
that it would be announced, and like the window to announcement and launch would be a pretty tight one. So I don't know why they wouldn't put a release year on it. I've seen people speculate that maybe they want to just like move it around GTA 6, but I don't know if you have that much wiggle room to like keep it in 2026, you know?
Yeah, no, I feel like this is first half of 27. And if we do believe that Intergalactic is next year to finish out the generation, that would be second half of 27. Those would be their two big pillar games.
Well, I think Intergalactic's 28.
Really? You think that? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's going to be, you think there's going to be a PS6 version of Intergalactic at launch then? That's a cross-gen game?
Yeah, very likely. Yeah. And that's assuming PS6 launches, 2028.
That'd be a shame because I was thinking Naughty Dog would get something in this generation.
They will. It'll just also ship on PlayStation 6.
But I mean, like when the PS5 was the primary focus. You know what I mean? I was thinking they would get, it's I don't know. It's kind of a shame that that'd be the case.
There has been a lot of talk about the God of War franchise, though. So that was one story we can pick up from the aftermath of the State of Play, which is that big interview they put out with Cory Barlog speaking with Ariel Lawrence, who's directing Lao Fei. They did mention and made it pretty clear, even in separate posts, that they're still going to make Kratos games. Like, as far as the franchise is concerned, they're still going to tell stories about the big guys, how they phrased them. But there's been a lot of discussion around the God of War property and, Fei being a lead character. But, you look at the title of it, like the title of the game, where God of War is like small font and then Lao Fei is bigger. And it very much is like what you were saying. Like, it has that sort of Marvel cinematic modeling of the title. And this universe is just so big. So I can't imagine that, they're going to walk away from Kratos, but it sort of gives them that leverage to explore more stories with possibly different characters.
Yeah, that's my assumption is going to be more story, more backstory, obviously for Fei, but I would even think there's probably going to be flashbacks here that we see, in her, like how we saw flashbacks with Kratos in the most recent game, right? He very well could have Fei think back to. I mean, we could honestly get. They could do the fight between Kratos and Faye through like a flashback. You know, they could do the Thor fight through a flashback. Those are all things that I think are on the table. And then of course they can play around with, I mean, her being in like the afterlife with a bunch of other gods that are there too. They can do a lot of stuff. So, but that's the thing I wouldn't rule out is the idea that they tell more of her from her perspective with Kratos. So I that could be really cool.
I agree. I 100% hope we do like at least get some sort of like meeting Kratos flashback. I would love that. I think you almost have to do that. So they're still very committed to our old pal Kratos. This does sort of lock in though, John. The concept of Santa Monica is just it's God of War.
They're a God of War studio.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we've known that for a while, but maybe some people were hoping they would. I mean, I was hoping they would just try, like, still do God of War, but try something else as well. Just they can be a big studio. I think they can be a big studio because their output is good. Maybe that's just because they only focus on God of War, but I mean, they're obviously very talented in what they do. So it's because of that. It's because of how good they are with these games that you'd like to see them just attempt something else, just as an incubation project that eventually goes into full production down the road. But it seems like every time they speak, it's here's God of War again, which is fine because it works. It's not like it doesn't sell.
No, that's you are not wrong about that. We have Housemarque and Saros. They were doing a few things these past 2 weeks. First up, a photo mode is patched in for Saros. 9 new trophies as well, which are all tied to photo mode. So it's no like crazy new content or anything. Your boy already hopped in, got his 100% back.
You got him?
Yeah.
Nice.
You just go to each biome and like capture a specific moment. The trophy descriptions are like a little cryptic, but you can just look it up on PSN profiles and know where you have to go. So it's pretty fast. But Housemarque was speaking with Christopher Dring of the game business, and we have Housemarque CEO Ilari Kutanen and the brand director Mikhail Haveri talking about their bullet hell gameplay, but also their aspirations, John. And they mentioned From Software here. They very much appreciate their approach throughout games and how they've been, building notoriety throughout the years. So the CEO said, quote, "From Software's journey from Kingsfield to what they are today, we're not presuming that we would be anywhere close to that, but like them, we will keep our core, keep educating the market that these are the coolest games you can play. That's our goal." You're standing by it. It is a very particular type of gameplay. The bullet hell, flow state is what they call it. And I love that they're still committing to it. They described a scenario where when they were hiring more people and getting much bigger, because the studio historically was doing smaller games, which had smaller staff, like a smaller team count. So when they ramped up production on games like Returnal and Saros, and they had that sort of bringing in a lot more people, outside people, you would have somebody from Ubisoft come in. And like they would want to pitch and there'd be like a work culture clash of like, no, this is how we do things. We're a gameplay first studio, and they really wanted to maintain that. I love that for them. I gush about them every time, but I love that they're so committed to their gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, I like that they've kind of honed in on this, and they're going to try to build out from this bullet hell shooter mentality. But I will say the next one, I would like to see them. Like Saros is good game, obviously. It still has that Returnal feel to it. I'd like to see them, now that they've done, because we've seen this with some of these Sony studios where they make a Returnal, then they go to Saros, or they make a Ghost of Tsushima, then they go to Ghost of Yotei, or God of War 2018 to Ragnarok. And it's like, okay, I get it. You have assets already made, you have gameplay mechanics made, and you do the direct sequel. And that makes sense because it's less money in a world right now where you have a lot of inflation and game prices. People talk about not going up fast. I get that. It's a way to get that next game without blowing up your budget. But I would like to see them, now that they have Saros done, think more about, okay, what's next to where we can have a Resogun to Returnal kind of jump, like where it feels drastically different, but still keeps that mentality of, as you say, the flow state, the difficult game. But now with Saros, maybe it's slightly more approachable in what they figured out here. So that's what I hope to see. And I assume they're like, okay, it's time for the PS6 now. Let's start thinking about what's next.
I wonder if there's something very analogous here going on where they do like a smaller scale game for PlayStation 6 because they did
I wouldn't
comment
mind
on
that
this.
either.
They did comment on this as well. They said, as far as their future goes, quote, there are interesting opportunities we'd like to look at that might not be at the scale of Saros. There are many things that we want to explore, and we will find whether it's possible or not. End quote. I don't know if that's like a big hint per se, but it almost makes it seem like they want to try something that's not as big.
I don't mind them trying their own. I mean, Ghost of Sparta or sorry, Sons of Sparta wasn't.
Sons of Sparta.
Yeah, it wasn't technically. I mean, Sony Santa Monica was there helping, but it was made by a different studio primarily. And so I don't know if that's what Housemarque wants to do, but like something on that scale where, again, not massive budget, but something that's quicker to develop, and they can be even more like they already get kind of out there with some of their stuff. Obviously, with the story and the presentation, at times they're like way out there, and people don't necessarily know what's even happening. But the gameplay is good. I would like to see them come up with a concept that they can attempt to make a game around, first and foremost, that gameplay concept, and then it gets built up for their next big title or added in. That's kind of I think a great way to do some experimentation is to literally build a small game around it and release it like how you'd have the Xbox Live Arcade days, or like PlayStation, all these like PlayStation minis and stuff thrown around out there on the PlayStation Network. That I know Sony is all about the big blockbuster. I don't mind it. I don't mind them going, you know what? We're going to take a year and see what we come up with for something like this.
That's the thing, is that even if they want to do it, I'm curious if PlayStation's like willing to even greenlight something like that. Like, yeah, we'll let one of our premier studios just kick off a small team and do another Resogun type of experience for PlayStation 6 launch day for like plus subscribers or something.
I mean,
the
system needs. I think it's when they had Astro's Playroom, that was a great idea because you see Team Asobi obviously took a lot of what they learned there, moved it into Astrobot. That went on to win Game of the Year. So even though obviously Sony wants sales, they also want that prestige. So that was a great way for them to figure out things for the smaller, you can even say more experimental game to show off the PS5 to then blow up into Astrobot. So the PS6, I feel like probably needs a similar idea, a smaller game that just comes packed in. I think that's worked well. It doesn't have to be Team Asobi again, though. That's the thing. It could be Housemarque, and that would be kind of interesting if they went about it that way.
But in that case, I feel like it'd be tied to Plus. You think they just straight up give away a Housemarque game like that?
Why not? I mean,
and it's difficult.
Giveaway is a strong choice of words if the Ps6 is $1,000.
Okay, but you know what I mean.
It's a strong choice of wording.
The thing about Playroom is that like they could have easily charged like $10 for that game.
No, they could have. They could have
$20 for that game. I mean, it's not you're not walking through a goddamn museum, walking on the console, learning things about it, and playing mini games. Like it was pretty substantial. So
yeah, but what if it was like a Resogun type game and the whole time you're exploring the PS6?
I mean, that'd be sick.
Yeah, see?
Cool. Yeah, it'd be cool. Well, because like they also love particle effects too. So you could be like blasting copper off the console or something. I don't know.
There'd be some cool stuff, right? Like bending reality and stuff with the ray tracing and path tracing that'd be able to do. And that'd be pretty cool. See, I don't like, that's what I mean. I still think they should do some weird stuff like that, and it'd be a cool packing game. And you understand then you should really think about with the packing game, the franchise that you pick to go with it, because that like everyone's going to have that game on their system, so think about the studio, think about the game and the franchise. Right. I think Team Asobi and Astrobot were great choice, obviously, but it doesn't have to be the choice again. I think you can do something different with it, different studio.
I think so too. I just want more of whatever Housemarque's cooking, because God, I love that studio. They say all the right things every time they talk. All right, we have Bungie stuff, bad Bungie stuff. A lot of stuff going on.
Is there ever any good Bungie stuff?
Not recently, no.
I feel like every time Bungie comes up, like the world is on fire.
There's been like kind of this weird back and forth. I don't know if you've been watching it, John.
I have. Yeah.
Yeah. We got this French journalist, Sylvain Trinel, on Twitter. I can't speak to their, their reporting, their accuracy, whatever the case is. So they made this claim that at least 50% of Bungie will be laid off this summer. And allegedly, speaking with their sources, including some at PlayStation, there's been some internal resistance and pushback, as in some people at PlayStation don't get why the decision to discontinue Destiny 2 was made. They even made the claim that there's a sort of revenge from Sony leadership going on here, blaming Bungie for the issues with their games as a service strategy. And this is off the back of them making various other comments from all the layoff stuff that's been going on. We'll be talking about that with, Xbox and other alleged catastrophes like Don't Nod and Quantic Dream. They mentioned id Software, Bethesda, BioWare. So they were just kind of jumping into this whole mess of stories. Paul Tossi from Forbes chimed in with sources at Bungie that he recently checked in with about this story. So he mentions that based on the information Trinell received, that could have been, lower level PlayStation employees or maybe people that were not in the know about why Destiny 2 was canceled. He makes the point that SIE has 12,000 employees. So reasonably speaking, any number of different people in different roles could be saying things, and that's not representative of why the decision was made. So the revenge angle, it's doesn't really hold up. He considers it more flimsy. The reality is it's just a math thing. So Destiny 2 started to cost more than what it was bringing in. He says nobody at Bungie has the impression that Sony is taking revenge on them. It's just a business decision. And then on the topic of layoffs, Paul put out a separate video about this, saying that the percentage range that he's heard for the layoffs, 50% is in there, but he doesn't include the whole range. So he's saying, yeah, layoffs are expected. Go figure. When you have hundreds of people not working on Destiny 2, that's going to happen, but 50% is in there. It's just not entirely clear on what the total is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, their Destiny 2 is done. Like, they're not going to be doing major updates. And if they have I think it's about 800 people now. And I'm sure a large number are dedicated to Destiny 2 content and they don't need Destiny 2 content anymore. There's probably going to be significant layoffs, and it probably is in the neighborhood of like half the studios. That number, as crazy sound, doesn't actually shock me. But what does surprise me is a few years ago, I guess Bungie was 1,200 people.
Yeah.
And now they'll be down to 400 people when we'll say if all this goes down, which it should be in the next few weeks, right? Like because they do their fiscal quarters, and I assume they're going to lay off around that time when they get through, I think into July, I think. And if that's the case, then we'll hear about it probably as it's going on. So probably in the next few weeks as they evaluate and decide what's next for the studio, because I don't know if you've been watching like the whole marathon thing, dude. It's not been going great for them. It's not been good.
I haven't. No. What's there to be said?
Well, like they do their season, right? That just happened, and they kind of messed it up apparently with some of the gear at the beginning, and the idea of marathon every season they wipe like all of your gear and everyone starts from zero again, basically. But then there was a whole thing around what people got at the beginning. So they were handing stuff out to people, it sounded like, and that got all messed up. So you'll launch the new season after wiping everybody's stuff, and now it's already uneven again. So, but then you look at a game that should have a consistent number of people logging in, dude. And I think Paul Tassi's mentioned many times that this is a heavy Steam reliant game, as in the numbers you see on Steam actually are like 70% of the user base, and it just doesn't look good. Like, it's just, I don't know, midday today is like 6,000 people playing. And even with consoles involved, it's probably still less than 10,000 at that time. So it's just, you look at Destiny 2 and it feels like, it kind of feels like that Sony picked the wrong game.
Well, I mean, that's the game that was already like well into development when they were acquired.
Well, like Marathon, for example, right? Right now, 11,489 people are on Steam. It's not as heavy of a console game. Like that's been discussed at length. Destiny 2, on the other hand, is actually a pretty big console game. It's literally like half and half, I think. Half PC, half console. Maybe even a little more in favor of console, right? So then you look at the numbers on Steam right now for Destiny 2. At this time, 113,000. There's literally 10 times more people playing Destiny 2 on PC than Marathon. And then you factor in consoles, that it's probably more than 200,000 people playing Destiny 2 right now. And there's probably 16,000, 70,000 people playing Marathon.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, but it's the economics of maintaining each game, right? Like Marathon's still relatively new.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously it's mostly labor, but you have to wonder what each game is bringing in. And with Destiny 2 being, I don't want to say as old as it's been, but if it has problems with onboarding, how often are you reliably monetizing the people that are playing versus, say, the Marathon audience?
Right.
Nobody has those numbers, but allegedly Destiny 2 is upside down now.
It wouldn't surprise me because they planned this last update to basically close it out instead of, hey, let's plan out more things we can sell to people, I guess. So it's just the entire run of Bungie over the last, I'm going to say 3 years has just been, it's impressive. Because you feel like you look at Destiny 2. I know it was struggling there for a while, but it's very clear that there is an audience that wants the game to be good. And it's amazing to me that they didn't think, hey, you know what? Maybe we could do a Destiny Classic. I don't understand why so many people online were able to figure that out, but like I guess they weren't. It's just strange to me. The whole situation is just weird because Bungie's supposed to be the people that are good at this, and it doesn't feel like they are.
Well, that's what's so tough about it is that when there's only a few big players and you were one of them, you kind of are one of the few that were good at it. But it doesn't really matter, if these things just die off eventually. That's how you can have Apex Legends creators go off and spin up a new studio, spit something out, and it was like a lightning in a bottle thing for Apex, but not necessarily for Highguard. Doesn't even matter.
Bungie kind of reminds me of the athlete that just is really old and they don't think they are, but then they're on the field and they're like, man, everyone's much faster than me.
That is one way to put it.
That's kind of how Bungie feels to me right now. I don't know.
That seems a bit harsh though, because it's like there's still so many other games that come and go and completely fail.
No, that is fair.
It's just the economics of like, okay, you have an established game, 2 established games. They've got players. It's not like 6,000 CCU right now. Like that doesn't mean that like daily players is obviously much higher than that number because that's only just how many are playing during a given hour. It's just about making the numbers work. And they might not be able to do that with salaries in Seattle, Washington.
I'm also kind of like I see other games like you mentioned, the Division 2 just got a big update. And it's weird to me that Ubisoft is able to figure out and support Division 2, which is smaller than Destiny 2 completely. But like Bungie just seems to just struggle with it. I don't know. It's so weird. And I mean,
who makes the Division? What
Ubisoft.
Studio?
What studio at Ubisoft?
One of their it's got to be one of the.
Oh yeah. Because but here's the thing though, right? They're doing these updates for the Division 2. Do you know what they're making? They're making the Division 3. You know what's a crazy idea for Bungie? I don't know. When you're updating Destiny 2, just maybe you make Destiny 3.
Yeah, Massive Entertainment, they maintain it. Sweden.
Yeah, but I would assume, I mean, the word is a lot of Ubisoft right now. Many studios are working on the Division 3 right now, like several of them.
Well, I mean, Ubisoft's not even the best analogy because obviously they've got their own turmoil. I mean, they're shutting down teams.
Yeah. But that to me is kind of the cadence of, hey, you know what? Let's make the next one while we're updating this one. It seems pretty straightforward because I feel like people are going to go, oh, cool, Division 3. Let's go. Let's get to that one now.
Yeah. Well, at risk of not spending too much time on this, I think we should not be the
directionless. That's what it is. They feel very directionless.
Yeah.
Bungie. That's what it is.
We do have a somewhat adjacent topic, a relatively new topic as well. So today we got official comments from PlayStation finally about PC games, single player PC games. We had Famitsu's 40th anniversary magazine. They had a big piece celebrating some PlayStation stuff. They have an interview with Hideaki Nishino, the SIE CEO. So he was asked about the recent reporting about single player PC games. So we have a quote here where this was translated on Reset Era by, I think it's Red Kong was the user, and they put it through DeepL translation, just FYI. So it might not, it should be fairly accurate, but they say, quote, "We've always determined platform selection based on the characteristics of each title. If releasing a title on PC would maximize the gaming experience, we'll continue to consider that option. Our current main policy is that for single player games developed in house, we will further refine the value of the gaming experience that PlayStation can offer. At the same time, we believe it is important for live service games to reach a wider audience through online multiplayer, so we continue to view releases on both PS5 and PC as the standard. Regardless of the platform, we will make decisions based on the principle of delivering the best possible gaming experience that maximizes each title's unique features." So that happened. And then only a few hours later, we had Jason Schreier chime in on that same thread. He made a comment, and so I'm going to read that one verbatim here, where he says, quote, "I guess they're not going to lay this out publicly, but there's no ambiguity to their strategy. During a town hall a few weeks ago, Herman Hulst told staff that their single-player narrative games will be PlayStation only, and he explained that they were inconsistent with their PC releases, they didn't make enough money, and they want to keep their IP aligned to their own platform. Confirmed this with two people who heard him say it. There's no case-by-case here." So there you go. Once again, still not really confirmed because it's still Jason saying it, not PlayStation. But we know modern PlayStation simply won't give a firm answer on these things.
No, it seems pretty straightforward to me though that we've talked about the PC stuff where it started out kind of strong and then the novelty wore off or the port wasn't very good or whatever, and then people just stopped kind of buying into the PlayStation games that showed up 6 months, a year, 2 years later than when it first released on PlayStation. And so like I said, the only thing that got me is they never attempted that day one release, but maybe they were always kind of half in, half out anyway. So it must have come down to we're either going to fully commit or we're going to back off. And I guess they backed off because they realized it all starts and ends with the console. So they need to put everything they can into getting you to buy the system. And yeah, it's as straightforward as going to your studios and being like, hey, we're just not going to release to that player pool. You could, but well, no, we're not doing that. So, I mean, exclusives have always worked. I don't know why. In the last few years, I've noticed online people are like kind of against the idea of exclusives. And we've talked about how maybe it's just because these systems aren't, bespoke hardware. It's not a mystery anymore as to what the stuff can do anymore. Like back in the day, it was interesting to see what the Cell could do or what the Xbox 360 setup could do with like its own tri-core processor or whatever. That's just not the case anymore. But it does sell systems. It works. Nintendo shows us every single generation. Every generation, people are confused why a game is exclusive when 150 some odd million Switch systems sell, despite being a Tegra X1 from 2015 that's still being sold now.
Well, yeah, I find it fascinating that they're still giving PR answers. It's like they just can't give us, but that's modern day PlayStation. Like I just read all that stuff, right? Like just Nishino-san, just say it.
Yeah, but I think I'm trying to honestly the only company that really just says it, and it's sometimes to their detriment, is Microsoft. Like Nintendo is pretty roundabout about things. We're always looking into this and this and this, but really, they're like, no, we're not releasing Mario on play. Are they like, are you stupid? No, we're not doing that. They're like, what they want to say to the interviewer or whoever, right? But they will give a roundabout answer because, I mean, how many times do people pull up quotes from 10 years ago or something and it's badly out of date, but the market's changed or whatever, right? Just in general, the terms have changed, but the quote's still there. So everyone's given the PR answers because no one wants to just tell it how it is, I guess, most times.
I mean, it does give, that's like, to your point, that does give them plausibility if, God forbid, people want to like go back and look at quotes. Because then somebody's going to read this quote and be like, oh, well, he was very particular with his words. He didn't outright say no. It's like the only people that are saying outright no is like, a secondhand third hand, really, source with Jason Schreier vetting it through two sources, But, PlayStation, if they feel like they'd ever need to do it again, I think it's still a distinct possibility. These budgets are still very, very high. Me and Matt talked about this in a recent interview, and he feels the same way. He's like, I think they'll get back to it. He's like, I give it a few years, and I think we'll be talking about this again. So you never know.
The budgets, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. They only have so many franchises that sell really, really well to where it's at God of War we just talked about. The reason they keep doing God of War is because it sells 10 million plus copies, no sweat. That'll work. But I mean, I hate to say it with Soros. We see the number that gets thrown around and we're like, ooh, that might be kind of difficult. That one might be. That's got to be one that sells well over time, over the course of the entire generation or something.
Right.
So they have so many franchises that they know. And I mean, with budgets now, it's less and less risk. Just how it is. They're all playing it safe, unfortunately, I'll say, because there's a lot of the reason we have some of these franchises now is because someone took a risk in the first place. So it's I think they're going to give it a shot with the PS6, keep things exclusive, but it's going to be PS5 and the PS5 and the PS6 logo are going to pop up a lot after that PS6 comes out, probably for most of the generation.
Yeah, I'm still just so curious if they'll borrow something from PS5, because there'd be no reason technically outside of just we want to have a PlayStation 6 exclusive.
Well, let's say they design an entire game around path tracing, like serious path tracing. And it's just, you put it on the PS5 and it's a struggle fest the whole way through. It's like, man, this is a choppy 20 frames per second. We're not going to do it. But the PS6, because the way it's designed, it's like, oh, there's a 60 FPS performance mode. And we've built everything around this lighting that we're doing.
But that's the thing. Like it's games are just so scalable. You just don't use path tracing and all it runs great on PS5.
That's true.
It's this it's even PS3 to PS4 with Resogun and the particle effects. They're like, oh, this game cannot run on a PlayStation 3. Which if you really crank up particle effects, then yeah, it'd be a pain in the ass. Everything's scalable to a degree. You have to really go outside the scope to see a hitch. And the only actual example I think we've had recently, as far as PlayStation is concerned is that SSD. And Rift Apart. Rift Apart in particular, those sequences are changing assets just so fast enough to where if you're on an HDD, it does stutter for a few seconds.
Specifically, though, even the PS4 with its slower CPU and then the 5400 RPM, Seagate drive or whatever. Yeah, it's not going to work. It would actually probably just pause the game for 30 seconds or something while sitting there trying to figure this out. And then it's not a great experience. Right. It really comes down to the feature set in the PS6. I think it is going to be heavily based around ray tracing and path tracing and all the other kinds of things that Mark Cerny will tell us about for an hour and a half, and people will probably fall asleep to.
But I'm excited. It's going to be glorious to hear Mark Cerny whisper sweet nothings into my ear. Okay, well, there's that. You want to catch up on some super chats here, and we'll dive into some more juicy stories.
Let's see. We have Daniel says, do you know if we are getting physical Black Ops 1 or 2 ports? I would not count on that. I think it's going to be, it could be a code in a box. I guess that's possible. Just get on store shelves. Yeah. I feel like it's going to be, unfortunately, while it's going to be a lot of fun, I think, because people will legitimately jump in. And I think those servers are going to be quite populated in probably the rest of this year, definitely. I think it's going to be a very, I don't say bare bones kind of port, but it's not going to be 4K, 120, it's going to be a pretty straightforward, I think, move from the older 360 version basically to the PS4 and PS5. Toast says, Ryan, a new Barbie Rewind was announced. 30 Platinums Part 5 confirmed.
No, not 30 Platinums, but I'll tell you, I find it funny that I did the first Barbie game on PS3. And the joke there was that was the only Barbie game that has a trophy list on PlayStation. So the joke was I'll platinum it, and now I've platinumed every Barbie game. And there's now there's fucking 3 new ones in a matter of 4 years.
Falling behind.
we've had PS3 and Vita for how long? You do one Barbie game. That's all that there's ever been for years, and now there's like 3 new ones.
Falling behind, Ryan.
I know, I am.
Ryan says, replaying Rebirth for the Platinum, still tedious, too many mini games. I hope Revelations cuts the padding down. Realistically, I can only buy 3 to 4 games for fall because I'm also playing my backlog before GTA 6. Yeah, that fall lineup is insane. The September, October run is craziness right now.
Good call working on the backlog, though.
Yeah.
I really got to get to that.
I mean, it's like a row of releases there, and at the end of September going to October. It's insanity.
Way too much.
Thought Gardner says, let's see. So Santa Monica probably decided there's enough mythology to keep the God of War series fresh. Also, Ryan, I figured microphone stuff out. Also, hi, John. We love you too.
There you go, John. Yeah.
They figured the microphone stuff out, though.
Yeah, I wasn't even, when I read that email, I was like, oh, wait, do you want me to answer this on video or do you want me to respond back? So I apologize for not getting to you faster. Sorry about that, Ben.
Nora Fair says, should I ask my GTA 4 question now or save it for the Patreon June Q&A? Also, hi, John. I don't acknowledge you enough, and I'm sorry for that. Cheers.
Why you ask John to play GTA 4 with you?
Hey, you know what? Hey, GTA 6 is coming. It's on the way. Okay.
Ask John.
And
I will do it with you.
I have a feeling GTA 6 is going to be some big, like, persistent world server thing you can build. So we might have to make a Click R3 server on GTA 6 online.
Bother John.
Okay.
John will news with you.
You can join our server then if that's the case. I think they're going to do something like that, though. Fly High says, good evening, gents. I love you all. I'm doing 100% runs on GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, and 4 before GTA 6 comes out. Any tips? I've only played 3 and 5. 4 is actually pretty good. 4, although, I will say 4 is kind of aged. It's a little rough, although it runs really well on PC, even for just a very, very basic or lower end PC. And that's where I played it recently. I originally played it on the 360 back in the day. I have not played it on the 360 in forever. I don't know if I played it on the PS3 recently, Ryan. 4.
I mean, I've been playing it every year for PS3 online.
Right,
so
right.
That game's very much in my head. I know what it looks like on PS3 hardware.
I mean, San Andreas is really good. So if you just want to go to like top tier greatness, just go to San Andreas.
San Andreas is fantastic. As far as tips are concerned, I mean, there's like so many resources for San Andreas because it's such an old game at this point. But that's the game where it has like, it's kind of like a PS2 Rebirth in a way. Like the joke is that there's just so much to do, and there's so many different things to 100%. And I remember with Vice City doing 100%, the game has that sort of like hidden point system to like up your like crime level. And so if you're doing like trophies, I think there's a trophy for that, but I can't remember. There you have to like grind that out.
Also, if you're just doing a lot of grinding too, but you want to keep on GTA topic, look at some of the icebergs for GTA where they go through all the myths and crazy stuff that people have found. Dude, it is like legit hours and hours of content. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's the one with like Bigfoot and stuff in San Andreas. Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah. Claw says they don't even need to do day one. Just don't price 2-year late ports like day one releases. I'm telling it felt like they just were never fully committed to PC. So to me, if you're just not going to be fully committed, I don't know if it's worth the resources to do it in the first place. Like you got to go all in on it then if you're going to do it. So
well, the ironic thing is we know they like the porting cost is like so low that they still made money.
Yeah.
Like they were all profitable because the porting cost is so low. It's just for the overall revenue of the organization. It was a blip on the radar.
Also, I kind of feel like I don't know how they feel about giving Valve 30% every time they sell a game. I feel like that kind of bothers them a bit.
Probably.
Yeah. So maybe they would have really gone on it all in if they had a PC launcher. Maybe that would have made them do it then, because they're just getting 100% of the cut every time then.
Yeah, but like that's just such a waste of time. Nobody wants another launcher on PC.
Yeah, that's true.
But like it's silly. Like it would be the biggest waste of time in the world.
Yeah, but I would like to see Valve continue to be challenged in the launcher space. I don't know if we should go, it's just Steam. Like I'd like to see launchers compete more. I know Steam has the stranglehold, but I don't know. See something.
Dude, if Epic's giving away like thousands of dollars worth of games for people to claim and then go back to Steam, not even play the free Epic games that they claimed, there's just no how do you it's tough to compete.
No, it is.
It would be very hard to give Valve a run for their money.
Toasty says the whole vibe of this podcast has been off since Ryan finished Rebirth. We need something new to nag Ryan about. That's true. That's true. There's got to be some other game that he's been meaning to beat that isn't done yet.
I mean, I didn't even start Expedition yet, but it's installed.
Oh, I mean,
it's installed, ready to launch. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
Maybe that. Yeah.
I feel like that game. So Rebirth was a whole thing to go through. Like it took a while to get through that game. Expedition doesn't have that feeling. I think Expedition moves along at a brisker pace, is what I'll say.
No, I research like every game before I play it, and I always look at like time to platinum. So I like compared to Rebirth, Expedition's going to feel like I don't know, like mixtape or something. Like I'm done with it in a weekend. Not that fast, obviously. I'm being, hyperbolic, but it's going to feel very fast to me coming off of Rebirth.
It's like a third of the time to platinum 33 than Rebirth, right? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I'm not worried at all.
I think the main story, just going through it the first time for me, was like 22 hours or something.
Yeah, I'd love to get through I'd love to play a 22-hour game just for like the gold path.
It was pretty quick. And then at that time they hadn't patched anything, so people were just posting all their builds that you could just like nuke most of the enemies or big bosses pretty easily. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty quick to even do some of the end game content like that. Now they've changed some stuff up, but at that time it was a bit easier. I think I got everything there. We're good.
All right, let's move on to the two big shows that we were not able to cover since then because we did State of Play. Makes sense for a primary PlayStation show, but we did have Summer Game Fest, Xbox Game Showcase. I would say the Direct, there was only a few things in the Direct that were PlayStation adjacent, which I'll just knock those out right now. Muramasa Revenant Blades, that was originally a Wii game, got a PS Vita port. That's coming to PS5 in early 2027. Final Fantasy Resonance, first HD 2D Final Fantasy turn-based game.
It was cool.
Good stuff there. Yeah. Dragon Quest Monsters, The Withered World is the first like DQ Monsters game coming to PlayStation in like 20 something years. So that's coming out December 3rd. Kingdom Hearts Collection 1 through 3. That's big, coming out October 8th. And Kingdom Hearts 4 got a new gameplay trailer. No release window, so it seems like that game is still probably pretty far away.
Hey, shout out to the Kingdom Hearts fans who've been waiting forever for that.
I know. I mean, that was the big surprise, really, outside of Ocarina of Time.
Waiting for
SGF. I mean, we're not going to go over everything here, but like, you got Ari Veronica. They open with that. Pretty big stuff there. I'm not the Resident Evil person, so I can't really speak to that.
That's the one I really never got into was Code Veronica. But people are pretty excited. I'm ready to check it out because Capcom's just been on a roll. These Resident Evil remakes have been awesome, so I'm excited to check it out then for really the first time.
Mm-hmm. Studio MDHR confirmed a new Cuphead game, which I'm so pumped for because I love Cuphead. And they're also putting out Mighty Cuphead Adventure, so it's like a little 8-bit version of the game. That was sick. I think that was like pretty damn cool. So that was a big one for me. Fumito Ueda-san's next game is called Gen Atlas. So it's got like big kaijus and third-person shooting. It was really neat to see that. The new trailer for Stranger Than Heaven had Tupac in the game. So they were able to get the Tupac estate to put his likeness in the game.
That was weird. A little controversial online too, but that whole thing,
Was it?
People were like, do you need to get someone who's not with us anymore into the game? And I noticed it online a lot. People were just kind of having that conversation.
Well, I think the Tupac estate's just been like really letting him, be used for a lot of things. Like they also granted his voice likeness to be used for that Street Fighter movie trailer. Do you watch that trailer? Where that's Tupac saying, he's like, I'm a Street Fighter. And
okay. Like,
oh, so they just
AI generated or something?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Me and my friend Terrell we watched the trailer. We're like, no fucking way they did that. That's crazy,
man.
And there was that big thing at Coachella where they like let like a what's the word I'm looking for? A hologram version. Yeah. But that was like 2013 or something. That was a while ago. All right, we're off the rails. Wolf Among Us 2 gameplay trailer coming next year. Wolf Among Us Remastered, Holiday 26. Stellar Blade, Blood Rain was revealed. No platforms or release date, but I imagine Shift Up is going to self-publish that. Tifa was in Street Fighter 6. That was rumored prior. The big ending, though, John, Final Fantasy VII Revelation revealed.
I told you had to get Rebirth done. Look at this over on good old Twitter X. Daryl asked if you finished Rebirth yet. Good question. He did just in time. Like you just got in. Like is this a movie where the door is coming down?
It wasn't that. Under. Come on, I finished it like months ago.
That was pretty close. So you're
months ago. Well, but the damn thing is, I didn't think they were going to show this much. Did anybody think they were going to show this much?
No, because they just released Rebirth on other systems, and this was the concern, is that they would do this and they would just start showing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that's. I think that's kind of dirty. You just shipped it on 2 platforms and then just show all this stuff for Revelation. I don't know. They showed off gameplay for Vincent and Sid. What else did they show off? The Highwind fighting the weapons. There's like a new class system for the party, and no exclusivity agreement. So PlayStation ain't got nothing. It's launching on all platforms simultaneously, spring 2027. Crazy.
Hey, all I know is I got in trouble a while ago for saying that Sephiroth kills Aerith in the original Final Fantasy VII.
John, stop!
The original one from the 90s.
What are you doing?
They show everything here to people with sight unseen, no warning.
They didn't show that.
They showed all kinds of stuff. I'm talking about the original Final Fantasy VII from the 90s. That's still a problem, apparently. For disc 1, by the way.
Yes, it is. You want to know why? Because I've seen people play 7 Remake and they've said, like, I never played, like, I don't know what's going to happen. And that's cool that a 20-something-year-old story is intact for some people. I don't want to normalize spoilers. But John...
They just spoiled a bunch of stuff at Summer Game Fest.
I know. Well, and that's why I'm disappointed in them.
That's worse, because I didn't spoil anything about this remake trilogy for people just now. I just said what happens before the end of disc 1 in Final Fantasy VII, the original one.
Okay.
It could have been worse. I could have told you hey, great advice. In the beginning of the game, make sure you spend 10 hours grinding Aerith to like level 40 or 50. Spend a lot of time there because she's going to be paramount on disc 2 and 3. I could have done that. I didn't. I just said, you know what? I'm going to help you out right now. Go ahead and put her at the back of the party.
John, you're teetering on the edge of choosing violence.
Well, they can people can play Rebirth and remake and Rebirth and then find out what actually happens in the new one, because while they did show airship and all kinds of stuff, there was some stuff they did not show, but a lot of out of context stuff that I saw, and I was like, man, that's like the end of the game, Rebirth game. What in the world?
It is nuts how much they showed. It is insane. Yeah. And sure enough, the game director, Naoki Yamaguchi, is already saying a few things about it. The only thing that I think is worth pointing out here is that he did say there's only one ending. We're not doing choices or anything. We're still going to be very by the book, story doesn't change, so everyone can rest easy on that. And he did touch on, because I think it was Varang that mentioned it earlier, but the mini games. So they said they're going to make them a lot more clear beforehand on what kind of rewards you're going to get before you play the mini games. They're going to offer an option to skip the mini games. The rewards for those mini games are only going to be like skins and customization options, so it's not like vital battle items that you need. And they're not changing the frequency of the mini games. They said there will be a lot still, but you'll just have much better options to say no to them this time around.
Yeah, I mean, everything they're showing so far for it looks really good. Like the idea of even the beginning, yeah, it's open world, but it is a very free open world where you're just flying around on an airship. So it's gonna be fun. The weapons, though, interestingly enough, seem very, very important to the story. Like with the original 7, it was you had 2 that were optional, almost super bosses at the end. In this one, they just show them as being part of the storyline.
Right. Well, that's like the hook of it, is that they just take everything so much further in the remake series.
Yeah, that's true. Again, it's a reimagining, so they can look at it and go, "Hey, it would be cool if the Emerald Weapon was important in the story, and not just, oh, I got to go beat this to get this ultimate weapon or something."
I'm very curious how they'll do Knights of the Round.
If they do Knights of the Round, maybe there's not in the game.
Damn well Knights of the Round is in there.
Has to be the entire 10-minute cutscene of them getting summoned.
And you can go make a sandwich while they're being summoned.
Well, that's because the trick was like you do that, and then you do the mime or echo whatever materia, and then everyone ends up bouncing it back and forth and casting it, and it hits multiple times, so it just kills bosses. You just walk away for 15 minutes, and when you come back, the boss is dead.
Well, either way.
Well, it is in the game. There you go.
See. There you go.
They spoiled it. What if people didn't know about Knights of the Round? That would have been a big reveal.
John,
I can't believe this.
John, you're pushing it.
I can't believe this.
You're pushing it, son. All right. Let's move on to some of the big, like really juicy stuff. I know it's been an hour and 20 minutes into the show. There was also the Xbox Game Showcase. A lot of okay, Varang. Just soliciting Elden Ring on the show here. The thing is, Elden Ring is like similar to Rebirth. That's like I can't do that. I need palate cleansers. I need palate cleansers. All right, Xbox Game Showcase. Let's talk about this. Gears of War E-Day is what they open with. And John, if you're a PlayStation fan, go to hell. You're not playing that game now. It's confirmed as a console exclusive. And then there are other trailers like Fable, Halo Campaign Evolved, Resonance of Plague Tale Legacy, Persona 4 Revival gameplay, State of Decay 3, Wolong, Senua from Ninja Theory, confirmed for PlayStation 5.
For now.
Doom the Dark Ages Revelations, Crazy Taxi, Minecraft Dungeons 2, coming to PS5. Magicians, The Devil's Deal, Valor Mortis, Castlevania, Persona 6. They did get the Persona 6 tease, which was pretty cool. Spyro: A Realm Beyond, PS5.
Spyro fans really excited about that.
And I'm one of them. Okay. And Clockwork Revolution got a new trailer as well. That's from An Exile Entertainment, and that also is an Xbox console exclusive. So the news here is that we were fully expecting Gears and I guess Clockwork, but there was never really as much discussion surrounding that. But we assumed, oh, these games are coming to PS5. Gears, not so much. It's pretty crazy. So, I mean, it's sounding like that game was very far along on PlayStation 5. The expectation is that we would get a PlayStation 5 version. And with the recent installment of the new CEO, Asha Sharma, a little over 100 days that she's now had that role, it cut it off. We're not doing that game anymore, which is pretty nuts.
Yeah, that was definitely last minute because they messed up in a live stream where they showed the PS5 logo and they had to take the live stream down. They're like, I don't know what happened. It's marketing and miscommunication. I kind of believe that they had. I feel like they looked at Clockwork Revolution. They said that's going to be an Xbox exclusive. But I kind of feel like Gears was last minute to where it was maybe even a week before. And I say that because Clockwork Revolution had an entire animation that was made to go from 27 to Xbox exclusive. And so that one I look at and go, okay, obviously they planned it because they designed it and created it, that whole thing, sure. But for Gears, they just shot a spot with Asha Sharma, who did like hey, it's an Xbox exclusive. You know, like that's what we're going to do. So that felt like that combined with the kind of the mess up there during the live stream. And then the coalition was asked about this and they were like, well, we never actually said it was coming to PS5, but they wouldn't necessarily I guess they wouldn't necessarily say, "Oh no, we were never planning for PS5." It's like, no, it's pretty clear where. And this is brought up to me by a couple people, but like the idea of it being Gears that they're going to do this with is kind of because it's a multiplayer game as well. Like it's heavy multiplayer. There's a campaign that this is gonna be the longest campaign apparently for Gears, and it's 15 hours long. And that's like the longest one. So the thing that people tend to go to Gears for is the multiplayer. And you feel like for Xbox, especially with the reported budget, I don't know. It's getting thrown around as a $400 million game. That's what's getting thrown around right now. We don't know if that's confirmed or not. I think that was Tom, honestly, Tom Warren. And if that's the case, it is actually crazy to not have it on PlayStation because you feel like they want to try to at least recoup that money. But they're going Xbox and PC, and I question with the number of Xbox players out there right now, because obviously it's going to go into Game Pass day one, if Xbox is going to even make a dent in that budget. And I feel like it's going to be, okay, PC players, please help us. And I just don't know. I've never really seen Gears as a PC game. I've always seen it as an Xbox game. So it's going to be a strange release for this game in October. And this whole PS5 debacle that's hanging over it, it's just a weird look for Microsoft, who is so sporadic with their decisions right now. They feel like they are all over the place currently.
Dude, it's overwhelming how much has happened. Like not to like basically turn the show into like nothing but an Xbox show, but it's genuinely overwhelming how much stuff has happened. I'm already like trying to remember all the order of events, right? So like the Gears thing, yeah, the live stream thing happened, and then you had what's his name? Matt Booty made a statement on I think it was the Xbox podcast, and he was like, oh, moving forward, this is how we're going to do exclusivity games with multiplayer or an established audience or prior commitments. And it's like, well, that doesn't really add up to all the things that you just announced in the showcase. You know what I mean?
It was Tom Henderson. Thank you, Claw. Appreciate it.
Tom
Henderson. Tom Henderson reported that. I think Insider Gaming. Thank you. Go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
No. And then who's the brand manager at Xbox? The brand director? Why am I forgetting his name?
Is that Aaron Greenberg?
Aaron Greenberg. Yeah, he's been around for so long. I don't even know why you would comment on it and say like, oh no, it's not last minute. Like I found out last month. It's like, are we being like overly technical about this? That was like a Twitter thread with Tom Warren. Like Tom was pressing him, saying like, oh here, like he put up that screenshot of the podcast. He said, look, there's a PS5 logo in here. And then Aaron Greenberg chimed in. He's like, no, just so you know, that wasn't last minute. He's like, so when did it happen? And Aaron's like, oh, Asha's made a lot of changes recently. Like I was informed last month. It's like, yeah, like, okay, we're talking about a game that was in development for years. Like you've got PS5 code sitting around somewhere at that studio. You probably had people optimizing PS5 Pro code. You probably had somebody doing 3D audio, maybe haptics and triggers. Like, let's not beat around the bush. Like you made this game on PlayStation 5 probably very far along, and now you're barring the release. That's not a problem, but I find it weird that it's like why are we making comments about it? Like I don't know why they talk so much.
Yeah, so
don't say anything.
That's the thing that Microsoft has a hard time with, and I've noticed this. I don't know if it's because like we talk about Nintendo and Sony, and they're Japanese companies. It just seems like Microsoft, being the American company, is so on social media, like constantly with this stuff, right? But it was pointed out, and this is true. The coalition does help out with a lot of projects at Microsoft, so they're not just a Gears of War studio. I mean, technically they are, but like they do a lot of work, especially with Unreal Engine and just helping to co-develop and run support on games. So I almost wonder if that's part of the reason it's like, hey guys, even if Gears doesn't go crazy by removing the PS5 audience in terms of sales, we kind of really can't get rid of you guys because you do help us ship a lot of our games. So, because it that's got to sting a little bit if you're, like you mentioned, developing a game with a PS5 version in mind, launching to a pretty large audience there. And then, according to that, a month ago, they go, yeah, that PS5 port you've been working on for like a year or so, we're just not going to launch that. That's tough. I mean, think about bonuses, everything that's reliant on sales figures. even engagement at these different studios, and you just kind of wipe that one off the board for, I mean, a player base that's nearing 100 million units. Yeah, that's tough. But Coalition does a lot, so I think that's one of the. Although I gotta admit, I look at inXile with Clockwork Revolution, and I go, that's an interesting one to keep on at just Xbox. When again, inXile probably could use that player base right now. I think it's one thing to launch the next generation system with a key title, but this is the point where these companies usually make a lot of money on their software sales because they've built up an install base, but Microsoft just never really got there with the Xbox. And it's a lot of it's because they didn't put the focus on the console, and now they want to at the end of the generation. So unless they have a really interesting strategy to bring a bunch of people on board in the next couple of years that somehow involves selling a very expensive system with this Project Helix thing, I'm not really sure what the strategy is right now.
Well, that's the other confusing part, is that you're choosing to do exclusivity towards the end of a console cycle with the install base incredibly low. And the company has also been very forward about the current health of the business. And it's like bad. Like this is a Asha Sharma thing, like just openly saying we have this accountability margin, excluding Activision Blizzard, we've spent $20 billion something and we've lost this in that amount of time. And our revenue is this far down. So it's like, oh, we're going to be doing this big reset. So that was another report from Jason Schreier. Significant layoffs are coming to Xbox, reportedly in the thousands. The Verge mentioned that could include a studio closure. That was like 2-ish weeks ago. Since then, we've had additional reports from Kotaku and another one from Jason. This is where the crazy stuff kicks in here, because several Xbox game studios are at risk of closure. So currently there's multiple teams negotiating with Xbox to possibly spin off or buy back their independence. That's Compulsion Games. They've made We Happy Few, South of Midnight. Double Fine, they made Psychonauts. They just put out Kiln. Ninja Theory with Hellblade. Hellblade, of course, is the very contentious one here because they just showed off this game. They just made a formal announcement of a new game. And apparently from Steven Totillo, this was on their newsletter, based on their sources, it was decided before the showcase, like, we're shutting the studio down. Apparently the studio is shut down, but like they've still got this window to find a buyer. And I guess the line of thinking was show the game off and we might find an investor, which is, I mean, assuming that's true is just like a pretty egregious.
That's kind of rough. Yeah, it's not great.
I mean, it's one thing when studios get shut down after like being critically acclaimed and their games win awards, and like everybody's done it. PlayStation's no saint. We all know they've made plenty of mistakes historically as well. We're not, saying that here. There's been plenty of egregious examples. I don't think I can recall of one where the game was announced and then like a week later, or even prior to that announcement, like it was shut down. And they only chose to show it in the hope of like them finding a buyer. That's wild to me.
Yeah, there was that footnote of we're unclear if Ninja Theory was aware of this plan. That is crazy. Yeah. that's because that you feel like that's a big day for them to show off this game that, I mean, looks like it's going to solve some of the criticism of the action in Hellblade 2 is lacking, ends being one-on-one combat a lot. I mean, the whole game is 5 hours, 6 hours long, maybe at most. So the action, you'd like to get a little more out of it for that kind of runtime. But they show this game off that looks better, and they go, hey, yeah, we're shutting you guys down. We need to find you maybe a way to spin off from Microsoft, which I will say credit to Toys for Bob. They got out at the right time. They were like, hold on a minute. How about we spin off? We found someone, and we'll work on Spyro with you guys. How about that? Hey, they found their exit strategy, and they took it. They didn't even think twice, it looks like. They were like, we're tired of working on Call of Duty and fixing the clouds or whatever in this level. We're out. So good for them.
Well, the scary thing is I feel like Toys for Bob was, they were in a good position to do that. I don't know how Compulsion, Double Fine, or Ninja Theory buys back their independence. What kind of money do they don't have any.
Well, the thing that's interesting about Ninja Theory is I feel like they have to, I have to double check. I feel like they have to put finances out each year for how much money they make. It's just based on, I think, the country they're in. And I think they were profitable last year. Yeah. And a lot of that's because, so the thing that's interesting about Ninja Theory, they have a very, actually a pretty nice mocap setup. So they could do mocap work for other studios. Like, hey, you can use this, pay us. And that's a way apparently that they've been able to generate extra revenue, and it's worked. Because if you look at their games like Hellblade 2, it's pretty impressive from a technical side, from a presentation, with mocap being involved. So I think there's value there if you are an investor coming in understanding that it's not just they're not going to put a game together that's going to sell 10 million copies, but they'll put a game together, they'll sell some, and then they'll also have an entire business around helping other studios mocap their work.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what makes the deal framed in such a complicated manner, because then you also have to consider who's keeping the IP, like what do they get to bring with them? You know, like as far as like the leasing of the space goes, their mocap outfit, like there's so many sort of verticals to account for, and I'm not sure. I guess Ninja Theory plausibly is in a better position than a Double Fine. But you know,
No.
you think about Double Fine, it's like, okay, they're in San Francisco for one, so they're expensive to operate, and they're a very boutique studio. Like they don't really put out huge commercial sellers. Like, how do they buy back their independence?
Right. They have to find somebody.
It's like that's why they sell. You know, like that's
Yeah.
why these teams sold, and that's why everyone's selling or closing, because there's nowhere to go. Like the money has to come from somewhere.
Yeah. Double Fine is interesting. I feel like the other thing would be if these studios spin off, would they be able to keep any of the IPs they came to the table with? Like, does Ninja Theory get to keep Hellblade? Does Double Fine get to keep Psychonauts? I would like to think they would, but there's a chance Microsoft's like, no, we're keeping those. You can contract out to us and maybe make another game, and that's fine. That's how we'll deal with it. But you're not taking these games with you. That's tough if that happens.
That could be part of the deal. Is that if they want to keep everything that's more expensive, oh, we can't afford that. How about you keep those IP? We sign a game deal again, but you just don't own us, and we have to find our, you know, we have to self fund. Like there's just, I'm sure there's a billion ways those deals could get worked out, but I would have to think that there's not many favorable options for some of these teams. So as a circling back point, it's like, okay, this company is in a really tough spot financially. Xbox has just been not in a great place. They're burning money. Game Pass hasn't panned out. You know, they've fully saturated on console, and now this is the time to do exclusivity again. Just, you know, it just seems a bit weird. But that's the question is, you know, how do they make this work, especially if you assume the next box is going to be quite expensive, which Asha has commented on too. They've been talking so much, it's hard to even like keep track of what's been said now at this point.
You think they're about to make Elder Scrolls 6 exclusive?
I who knows at this point, you know, who knows?
I kind of think they're going to.
Well, that's what's so ironic though, is like, dude, like we're even going further back, right? Like old leadership, Bond and Spencer. And after a while, it was like, oh shit, the CFO is like breathing down our neck. We have to start delivering. And nobody knows exactly who made that decision, but it's like, okay, now they're doing all this multi-platform stuff. I still expect like maybe Phil didn't want to do that. I don't think Phil wanted to like ship on PlayStation.
I don't think he did either. I think Halo. I kind of, the timeline lines up, and I kind of wonder if Halo broke him a bit.
Yeah, dude, that guy bled green, and you have to respect it. Like Phil gets a lot of shit, but like he was not only a suit, but he was like a guy that like is prideful about his work, loves the game as business. Anybody that ever talks about this man, they usually are praising him. As far as like if you worked under him, worked with him, had an experience with him. So like a lot of respect to Phil, but I think he genuinely like that sucked for him to do. I think there was like a little civil war, but that's not the point. The main point is you're telling me we're coming out of old leadership that was seemingly forced to do multi-platform. Now we're doing a reset with a new CEO and going back to traditional console models, which implies you're at the lowest point possible. You're going to be going back to probably not making a ton of money. You were just committed to not burning money anymore. Now you're committed to burning money again. I don't get what the play here is. I don't see it. Unless here's the thing, unless they are like, did Asha somehow magically get that autonomy to, oh, okay, we'll start burning money again for because it's got to be multiple years. You have to rebuild the notoriety of the console, the brand image. It's not going to happen overnight with 2 exclusives.
The report seems to indicate there are many reports coming out about this whole situation, and there are a few that indicate, or at least say, that she did happen to get Satya Nadella to go, okay, we're gonna pursue this now. We are going to greenlight funds with Amy Hood and everyone else running the show from the money position. And the games that came up as these are the ones we're going to focus on, it kind of sounds like, and what they're doing right now sort of reflects that, the idea of less games, but bigger games. You know, actually kind of what Sony sort of does, you know, like we're going to really focus in first party. We're going to try to have big pillar titles and then let third parties kind of fill in the gaps. And I think that's a good strategy for Game Pass now because it clearly hasn't worked out for them. So you take Game Pass, you make it cheaper, but in order to do that, you stop with and people aren't going to like it as much, the big first party day one releases. And you go back to, okay, this is just a collection of games. We will get like how Sony does, where they occasionally get that third party game that goes in day one. And maybe it's like a smaller indie, but sometimes the surprises like Blueprints, that was a cool one to drop in, something like that. And that's how we're going to work with Game Pass. And now it's $15 a month or something like that instead of, I mean, it got up to $30. That's not going to work, you know? Yeah. So, but I think so they named Elder Scrolls, they named Fallout, a new Fallout 5, and then they named Halo. So I think all of those, most likely, they're just going to take a swing at exclusivity with.
And here's the thing, like, bold play, I'm into the traditional console model. I say go for it. I still think it sucks that like they picked up third-party publishers, you know, these known long-standing properties that had, you know, a presence on PlayStation. And in recent years, they've been doing these games on like Switch now too. Like Switch is now a pretty healthy third-party platform, you know. So I still disagree with how they've gone about doing it. But at this point, if they're truly committed to it, then we'll see how it shakes out. It's just they have to be committed to losing the money. You know, you can't prop this up against like, oh, PlayStation does exclusives. Well, they have the install base to do it. Like Spider-Man can ship 5 million, no problem. Yote's apparently almost at 5 million. Yeah, obviously some are like not nearly as doing nearly as well, but we know these games consistently climb into the 10+ million range lifetime on PlayStation systems, and Xbox just hasn't been in that position. And how could they be? Because they've been doing a model that doesn't work for them, and that's Game Pass. It just doesn't. It's not working.
Yeah,
it can still be a part of it, but you know, I hate to say do everything Sony's doing, but obviously PlayStation kind of had this figured out.
Yeah, they definitely have to rethink Game Pass. I think that's gonna be a shoe that drops. It's probably gonna annoy some people, and it'll be she said like there's gonna be decisions that aren't gonna be received well, and I think the restructuring of Game Pass is gonna be one of them. But I mean, they get it down to $15 a month, maybe people will be more receptive to that if there's less content. But I mean, all the stuff that's already there is a lot, but just a cheaper overall price. I mean, we're never getting back to where they went, oh, day one releases and it's $10 a month. That's never happening again. That was actually insane when they were doing that.
Yeah, that was like Movie Pass, basically, if you remember that. It's like, how the hell does Movie Pass make money?
That was great. Yeah, that's never gonna happen. So man, I don't know. Microsoft it's going to be an interesting 3 months that are coming up for them, and I'll be interested to see how they approach the exclusivity versus multi-platform releases now, because some of these they're just stuck with, like Fable coming out next year, but going to be on the PS5.
Yeah.
And then, but at the same time, they're going to have releases that come out like a Gears that's not on the PS5. So it's going to be
like why not weird. Fable? Like if you're going to cancel a last minute PS5 game, like
right,
Fable hasn't had any presence on PlayStation yet. Conceivably, that was the one to do. We have Gears of War remastered.
I think they already announced that it was going to be on. When was that? That was like
they did. Yeah, they did announce it already. Yeah, you're right.
I think if they could take it back, they'd take Halo back. I do. I think they'd go, nah, that's just an Xbox game, because there was the word was that they pulled the trailer, and I was like, really? That sounds a little weird. But then Jason Schreier's like, no, they actually pulled the trailer, like his reporting, and I said, apparently they made Sony mad with it. And it's like, John, man, the console wars really is back.
No, but like, so I was just getting to that. You called that, remember? You were
Oh
boldly
yeah.
saying in previous Click R3s, you think Halo's going to be here? I'm like, oh, I don't know if they're really going to, have they really gotten to that point yet? And apparently they did. That would have been batshit insane. A
Man.
PS5 Pro trailer for Halo at a state of play. I mean, that would have been nuts. And yeah, they have apparently pulled that, which yeah, I think that'd probably piss PlayStation off because it's like that's just a logistics thing at that point. Like, god damn it, we got to re-edit this state of play. Like, we're doing voiceovers and shit. Like, it changes the whole marketing of
It
the
does.
state of play.
It does. You know, been a real power move if that was like the real opener. It wasn't Wolverine. Halo's the opener. Dude,
That
that'd
would
be
have been
crazy.
crazy. Oh, it would have been nuts. Yeah, like they're too far into Halo now too, And
I
that's big.
yeah.
Like Halo's dropping soon next month.
Yep, I will get it on the PS5 and I'll get on the Xbox and play them there. And they've been showing a lot about it. It looks good. The game looks awesome, so I'm excited for it. But I think the next Halo game, the next big mainline one, Xbox PC exclusive. I don't think it's gonna be on PlayStation, which is so weird again. But they just did it with Gears of War. Gears of War Reloaded goes to PlayStation. Gears of War E8 does not. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's been nutty. I mean, it's fascinating watching PlayStation be so careful about it. Like, oh, we'll do some PC stuff. Like the MLB Association sort of had our hands tied behind our back. Apparently, that might have been the case for like Lego with Horizon. And they were like, kind of like, okay, we'll license some stuff out to Bandai Namco, but don't put it on the green guy. So it's like they've been very cautious about it. And then Xbox has been like, oh, all in, we'll do PC. That was years ago. Now we'll do PlayStation. Now we'll do Nintendo. So to backpedal on that is just a lot harder for them to do.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. It'll be a weird couple months
Very
here.
weird. Did you see Sean Layden's comments about the whole Xbox changes going on too? He
No,
made
what did he
a
say?
he posted so over on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
there was a game consultant and they like just did this post where they were like writing all the changes going on at Xbox. And so Sean wrote a comment on that LinkedIn post and he said, quote, at the risk of sounding like a hater, which I'm really not, the moves evince a basic misunderstanding of how the interactive entertainment world moves. If you know, you know, which also means if you don't, you don't. That's harsh.
Man.
That's harsh.
I mean, I don't really know where Sean sits right now with a lot of the stuff because he works at Tencent anyway, so I'm not really sure where he is with any of this. I don't know.
He's very outspoken. He's been very outspoken about consolidation, modern PlayStation. I mean, he's we assume he was basically kicked out, so or told to have an amicable departure.
Yeah, I feel like he's been kind of scorned by just in general, like these platform holders. So he has the position at Tencent now that's probably not going anywhere for a while for him. But I don't know. I just be curious to see how he views the industry now versus then.
I think I should have added this. So there's some important context to the exclusivity stuff. The Xbox CEO Asha Sharma gave this answer speaking with Fortune about exclusivity. So we have another quote here. She says, look, I think that we are the number 2 publisher in the world. And when you do that, you want your games to be everywhere. You're stronger when the world plays with you. At the same time, we're increasingly becoming more of a platform, and it's hard to find examples of platforms out there that don't have exclusive services and content. And so this is a journey for us. Our business isn't particularly healthy, as you noted, and we're starting by introducing 1 or 2 signature exclusives. And as the business is healthy, we will look to try and do more. It's an honest answer, but it's them pretty much saying we're not good right now. Maybe if we are, we'll do more.
Yeah, that's pretty straightforward.
I don't know. We'll see. Oh, John, I wanted to see how you felt about this. Halo Campaign Evolved. You can play in third person. You thought that was cool?
It's disgusting. What is wrong with this world?
What's wrong with that?
Is that I will.
Trailer?
Yeah, I saw that. Nah, you could do that in they had that in Halo Infinite. They had like a game mode for that.
Yeah.
And it was disgusting then, and it's still disgusting now. The
I'm not a fan, is what you're saying.
Halo is meant to be played in first person, okay? Now they're trying to sell it to a wider audience. I get it. It's the PlayStation third person mode.
I'm gonna play it in third person now, just to spite you.
Man, no, it looked kind of. I will say it looked a little janky in third person, but that's just Halo wasn't really ever designed as like a third person shooter. But you know what? It is. I think it's a skull that you need to get. I believe. I think it's tied to a skull. So the thing with these skulls is they've always been there. They've been modifiers. They do weird things in the game. And that's kind of interesting, I think, for people to be able to play around with the different game types and modes and certain skulls on and off. It's always been a fun thing. So yeah, why not? I mean, I'm not going to play in third person, but some people will.
Can I bitch about how it requires internet to install the disc?
Yeah, I saw that too. I don't know what the deal is because I don't think the game is 100 gigabytes, is it?
Storage is never my concern. Like most games are under 100. They might be like close, but what the fuck are we doing? It's a remake. Why are we doing this?
I pick up a turret in Halo 3. You pick up a turret in Halo 3 in a game I'm in, and you're one shot snipe and it's over. That's it. It's done. Or 4 BR shots, boom, it's over. Try that turret. You're so vulnerable with that thing. And guess what? You go into third person when you pick it up. So there you go.
John's a savage.
Hey, I'll take care of it.
This man is a straight savage.
I'll take care of it. Say he called it. Was, you don't pick up the you pick it up, you're like, yeah, oh. People always try to get on the pit and they use a little Gatling up there, and it's like, dude, you look at the turret, there's like a window in the middle, and it's just sniper bullet goes straight through it. It's over.
Got a few more things for you, John. We did talk about Persona 6 earlier. More recent news is that the game was rated in Australia. That just happened. And there was a video game translator on Tumblr claiming that they're a localizer for the game. They're localizing it. And they've been doing that since January. But the running rumor is that this game was it's planned for September 27. So it's not far away. And
Persona 4 Revival's coming, right? So they're spacing that out, I assume.
This game, you don't rate games if they're not content complete. So I think it's actually sooner than people are thinking.
I mean, I assume you're excited for Persona 6.
Big time. Yeah, for sure. For sure. We have a story synopsis, which is the most unsurprising thing in the world, which you're living the life of a Japanese high school student. Yeah, living a double life. So
didn't see that
expect that. Yeah.
Oh, man. Jeez. That's on the level of the spoiler from Final Fantasy VII, man.
Hey. Shut your pie hole. That the teaser though almost made it seem like it was very spooky, maybe some horror elements. I'm into it. I'm liking it.
Yeah, it did. It did look kind of like it has that spooky vibe. Hey, I mean, if it's in September or October, it'll line up nicely. That Halloween kind of vibe. Mm-hmm. Green. The theming is green too. How you feel about that?
Well, that was a rumor a while ago, and everyone's like, yeah, it's probably green, which makes me think spooky. With the sort of because they gave it they gave the logo, I think, kind of a halo effect, which kind of gives you that sense of graveyard glowing green or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm making sense, but it seemed kind of cool. So
you're gonna play that Persona 4 Revival when it drops?
Dude. So what makes me annoyed about that is that the voice cast is different.
Okay.
So I seldom let things bother me that much, but if I'm being honest, the one that really does I have a big problem with, it's replacing voice talent. For continuity's sake of those characters, it really bothers me. I don't care if it's a port, remaster, remake. If it's characters that they sound a certain way to you and you change them, pisses me off. I can't. Which ironically for 4, Golden was the one I played. So I get it. Chie, for example, Aaron Fitzgerald, that's different from the on the PS2 game. But that Golden's the one I played, and Aaron's reprised that role in other spinoffs. So it's why not? It's just but the whole cast is different now, basically. That annoys me.
It's gonna be fun getting that new Persona game. It's been so long since a brand new one, like Persona 5. That feels like forever ago now. And I mean, by the time the new one comes out, that it's 10 years.
Yeah.
So
more than 10.
it's been it's been a long time, since that's happened. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see that all, because a brand new game comes out, social media is all talking about it, and I know Persona, obviously, you play through 5. There's some crazy stuff happens in that game. A lot of conversation around it, so that'll be fun. It'll be fun. Midnight release, maybe.
Another midnight release. Going to show up at all these stores at 9 p.m.
No, I'll show up at 11:55 p.m.
11:55.
No,
well, that's what they don't do, like midnight launches. That they do like 9 p.m. Like,
do they still? I feel like they still do just. I feel like it's midnight. Is it 9?
I do. That's okay. So I truly can't remember the last midnight release because the Ragnarok thing. The Ragnarok thing was like 9 p.m. Yeah,
getting kind of loose with it there. I don't know. I was when I was at GameStop, it had to be midnight. You're not getting 11:59. The person would be up there, the manager, stand at the door and just wait for the thing to tick over. And at times they'd walk up probably a minute before, and the person on the other side of the glass is there, and they're there, and they're just waiting. Okay, now it's officially 12. It's like, man.
Yeah, I did those, but like I think the more recent store launches at night are like 9 p.m. because the staff just stays there till like
9 p.m.
They close it. Yeah, like it closes at. The stores will close at 9, but actually they'll stay open a little bit longer to sell the game.
Yeah, because they just launch it all at like midnight Eastern, so it's 9. That's the nice, I guess, advantage of the West Coast is you'll get the midnight release at 9 and go home. East Coast, man, we get it at midnight, and then it's like 15, 20, maybe 30-minute drive, depending on how far away. And then you got to install the game, and you're playing by 1 if you're lucky.
No, but see, I'm Eastern. Like I still like Ragnarok was 9 p.m.
Really? They still gave it to you at 9 p.m.? I don't know. We might have to check. Which store was this, Ryan? What's the store number?
It was you had the GameStop store number.
Might have to check this out. Might have to look into this. I don't know.
GameStop's, Best Buys, yeah, they're
like
midnight
backroom dealings happening here. I don't know.
Their midnight launches are at like 9 p.m. or something.
I don't know. Chat is like flabbergasted. Look at this. This person says, "Wow."
Well, so what? One guy said 8 p.m. for Red Dead 2.
I might look at that earlier. Too. I'm looking at that one too. Meta Knight, what's the store number on that? I don't know.
Yeah, it's better than like lying about living in Australia to download something a day early.
Hey, that's a serious flight to get there.
No, New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand. I mean, Australia for the Switch too. That's where you got to go for it. New Zealand on the Xbox though. That's a whole thing. You got to put the Xbox, in the luggage, make sure it's secured, and then you got to make sure they don't throw it down the conveyor belt and stuff. You got to fly, several hours. I don't actually know how many. Several hours.
Several hours, the guy says. All right, listen. We got another story here. This was mentioned earlier in one of the super chats, but yeah, Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and 2. I did write this down. They're from Iron Galaxy. They're just ports. So they're not calling them remasters, but they're coming next month. And yeah, it's the full thing. Campaign, multiplayer, zombies, PS4 and PS5. And they're doing this because the games are backwards compatible on Xbox Series. So it sounds like they just commissioned specifically PlayStation 1s to get them playable.
Word is it's going to use different servers, though, than the 360 backwards compatible versions.
Well, that would make sense because those games are strict. Those are still 360 games.
Yes.
They're not properly ported. They like run in a container that still emulates those games.
But those games are crushed with like hackers and stuff.
Right. And that's the thing is that it's the same on PlayStation. Black Ops 1 and 2 are unplayable on PlayStation 3. It fucking sucks.
So all you're telling me is we're about to get a playable Black Ops 1 and 2 next month.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's massive. I'll say that's huge.
Yeah, it's absolutely massive. Because at first I was shocked. I mean, these games showed up on the PS and back end last month.
Yep.
And I thought, oh, okay, the campaigns. And I was, oh shit, it's the full fucking thing.
Yep.
Zombies
that's awesome.
Multiplayer. Yeah, that's crazy. That's
Trophies?
awesome.
Trophies? Huh?
They have to because they're brand new title ID'd games. They have to get trophies.
If there's Black Ops 1 and 2, Ryan, are there 2 platinums or 1?
If they sell them separately, then a platinum each. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to work. Double pack, or I feel like there was a double pack for those games. I feel like they've done this before. Am I misremembering?
Well, if it's a double pack, that's still like when you transact on the PS Store, you'd still see 2 tiles to download per game.
It might have been
It
at retail where they did the double pack and you had just 2 discs in there. That might be what I'm thinking of for the 360 era. If I'm misremembering, might have been something like
Yeah,
that.
well,
Either
even
way,
back then,
I'm really excited. This is gonna be cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that is sick. I
Why?
haven't played the campaign in a while either for those games.
Oh yeah, no. But why is it just PlayStation?
Because you can't play those games on their PS3 games.
Oh yeah, but like why if they're gonna do it here, why not also just do a re-release on the Xbox and then also I guess technically PC and then also on Switch? It's just interesting they've singled out PlayStation despite being a studio that's owned by Microsoft who just went big time with exclusives.
Well, because I feel like porting these 2 games is probably the easiest money anybody could make.
No, it is. Did you see the response
Yeah.
online?
I saw Push Square put an article up where they're like, the announcement for that tweet has more likes than Modern Warfare 4's announcement tweet.
It's apparently the most liked tweet that Treyarch's ever put out there.
Yeah.
Is that? And I looked, I was like, really? Dude, the thing has more than 25 million views.
I mean, there's probably a generational turnover now where, it feels weird to call them classics, but they might feel classic to somebody that, was maybe 18 when the game came out. And now they're what? Late 20s to early 30s? Yeah.
Black Ops 1 came out in 2010.
Yeah.
16 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. Yeah, so you're right. If you got it in college, and that was obviously college was big time for those Call of Duty generations, and you were 21, you're 37 now. So 36. That's a yeah, I'd call that classic. I'd call it nostalgia, looking back on it. So
if you play on PlayStation, you needed a PS3 to play these.
Also, I'm not going to have Beavis and Butthead running around in the Call of Duty game. It's
won't.
not going to be all weird. And Seth Rogen's not there to run an expansion or a season. It's like, no, this is Call of Duty. Okay. It's just questionable things are said online, but I don't have to deal with a Ninja Turtle, skateboard around with a pizza. And then here comes Nicki Minaj or whatever else, whatever celebrity decide to put in there on the day, the Homelander from The Boys for some reason,
All right, John, go off. I see you.
Dude, every time it was like me, Nate, MVG, we'd play Call of Duty here and there. Every week I would log in. There was some new weird pop culture reference or character being added in. Some new skin was killing me on a daily basis. And I'm like, what is this? The finishing move for Seth Rogen is he tries to shoot you. His gun isn't working. He throws it on the ground. While, by the way, weed is just emanating from him. It bounces, the gun flips around, shoots you in the head, and then he's like, I don't know how that happened, and he does his little laugh.
I gotta see this.
That is a legit move for him, like a finishing move. And yeah,
Call of Duty Seth Rogen finisher.
Ghostface.
Oh my god.
That's what was killing me. I'm like, what is this? Like the whole time. Yeah.
Dude, I've been so out of the game here.
That's the kind of stuff I was dealing with.
Oh, that really is Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Am I out of touch?
Yes. we all are out of touch. Everyone is.
Yeah, he's wearing like a rainbow suit and tie.
It's a suit. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's funny.
Boots on the ground though. Yeah,
it's funny.
So it was around that time where I was kind of like, I don't know. Maybe I am just old. And it's sad because it's Call of Duty. It's an M-rated game where military shooter just like lighting each other up over and over again, 30 some odd kills a game between everybody. Like a lot of time to kill is crazy fast then. And it's just, I felt like I was the old person there. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe this isn't me anymore.
I'm sorry. I'm just entranced by Seth Rogen killing people in Call of Duty now.
Yes, they did a lot of collaborations. The ones you'd log in, I'd be like, what? No, but that's the thing that's even more annoying. They spent a lot of, I'm sure, plenty of money on the budget, making sure he was like photogrammetry, the whole thing. It's like, okay, thanks, Activision.
This is unmistakably Seth Rogen killing you.
So yes, I have no problem going back in time to 360 visuals at 60 FPS. I mean, I'm sure it'll probably be like 1080p or something. They'll do some kind of up rendering there, whatever, right? I don't mind going back in time to that because it's one, it's simpler, but two, it actually looks like Call of Duty net then, you know?
They better give it a pretty big resolution bump.
I wouldn't. I mean, it
Should be
cleans up nice
4K.
enough. It cleans up nice enough. Like I've seen people show off like renderings and like PC stuff, and it looks fine when you do it, but you can still tell, like older assets and stuff. It doesn't need to be completely remade at this point. You just gotta make sure it runs well, put it out there, new servers without all the cheaters, and I think it could be a blast. I'll be playing it actually on PlayStation 5 then, so that'll be cool.
Yep. All right. Well, that happened. And I did write down some details here for Unreal Engine 6. I don't know if you went through that blog post about what they're doing with this engine here. Doesn't really sound all that exciting, to be honest. They described it as unifying Unreal 5 and the Unreal Editor for Fortnite into a single product, and that is Unreal Engine 6. They say UE6 is distinctly from an incremental UE5 development path, but one of the bigger changes that they're making is enabling content, code, and economies to become portable and interoperable across games. So that means, in theory, they use Fortnite as an example here, and that's the one that they're going to be testing out initially. But, a Fortnite skin could be like usable in another game if the player is entitled to it. And then that developer of that game can make, Fortnite skins, and that can be just usable in Fortnite, and you can like offer entitlements across those games very seamlessly. They're also working on a new gameplay programming language. And as you mentioned earlier, they're integrating a lot of different AI models into the game, or into the engine rather. So they want to reduce monotony, close up iteration loops, things like character rigs, particle systems, lighting, all that jazz. A lot of AI models to help you do all that stuff. And Epic is targeting an early release of UE6 at the end of 2027, and then a full launch 12 to 18 months later.
What do you think about Tim Sweeney? He had a whole speech at the end. Did you see any of that?
I did not see his speech. No. What do you do?
We're discussing this quite a bit because he touched on the struggles of the AAA gaming space right now and just selling these games. He seemed to imply that the answer is like a Fortnite model. Like the idea of people, they kind of like to just get into the game, and the microtransactions and stuff, the math adds up. It makes sense. And that's kind of like that's what people should be thinking about. I was like, really? That's interesting. But my thing is, so many companies keep trying that, and the live service stuff comes and goes constantly. It's like a revolving door. So I think it's a situation. It's easy to say it when you have Fortnite. It's way more difficult to say that when you just don't have Fortnite. So I don't know. I was looking at that. I'm like, man, that just seems, we said out of touch. That seems out of touch for the struggles of people trying to build a live service game. I mean, Unreal Engine 6 is being made to where you can have it across platforms easier, which is nice for people trying to port these games and move them around. But it's also easier to bring your game into a platform specifically like Fortnite, like as in release your game into Fortnite. So I don't know. It's I really like that speech at the end. It seemed a little hey, come join Fortnite, Team Fortnite kind of thing. Stop making $70 or $80 games that are content complete or like set up as more premium products kind of thing.
It's just so underwhelming. Like big landmark, updates for engines, and UE5 is so widely adopted now in this business. Most publishers now, most developers lean on it because it's just so ubiquitous. And every like new generation, we get that cool tech demo showing off all the key pillars of lighting effects or something. And the initial pitch, I'm sure we'll get a tech demo, but like the initial pitch is interoperability with Fortnite skins, and we're unifying the Fortnite editor. Like this is not really, this ain't it, dog.
Yeah, it seems I don't know, it's a little strange the direction they want to take the whole thing in. I have wondered, and I've talked about this, people, if Fortnite did a lot of damage to gaming, because it kind of feels like it has.
Is it repairable though?
Ask the question, because you know what would be a good test case for that? Can because he's pitching the idea of just free to play games basically for a lot of these companies. And I guess the question is retraining people to not expect a Fortnite. Can Microsoft retrain people to buy games again from them?
Yeah. Well,
Something like that. Is that possible? Because generations turn over. We see it all the time, and Fortnite has, for the most part, stood up for it. But if Fortnite starts to falter, like what does that then say about the direction of the industry? And is it because a generation from then coming in isn't as interested in Fortnite, just like how we've seen with things Halo, for example, or others? So I mean, he mentioned Roblox. I'm like, man, I don't know. This is, I guess the younger kids are coming up playing Fortnite and Roblox, and the idea is they'll just continue doing that. But I don't know. I'm curious if the 8-year-old playing Roblox now will be playing it when they're in their 20s like that, you know? And there's a lot of things for them to be concerned about.
Sometimes I think about, like, I try to find like analogous situations, and I look at social media and I think Facebook used to be really big, and now I don't really use it anymore, or like not nearly as much, but I'll still log into it and stuff, but I don't really interact on that platform. But I think it's been around long enough to where it's like sort of culturally ingrained that, it's like I find it hard for Facebook to die or go away. Like back in, like, I want to say the 2010s and below, certainly early 2000s, you would have internet, you would have websites come and go all the time. Like they'd sort of blow up and then go away. And like it'd be really hard for something to stick. Some would stick. Like there was Dig before Reddit, but now like Reddit stuck, and now Reddit grew way bigger than Dig ever was. And so it's like now Reddit's just ingrained, and it's like a cultural sort of like phenomenon of Googling things and just typing Reddit towards the end of it because you want to see like a Reddit result. So I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but I look at something like Fortnite and Roblox and what they've achieved, and I wonder if they've sort of been just culturally ingrained to the point where they might never go away. They might have their ups and downs, but I don't know if they'll like go away, if that makes sense.
Well, the other thing that he mentioned is the idea of Unreal Engine allowing like an open ecosystem. And as he's describing this, I'm like, I feel like I've heard this before. And you know what he ended up basically explaining without saying it? He was explaining metaverse and NFTs. Yeah, I remember that was a whole thing. Remember, was this like 6 years ago or so?
Yeah, how 2020 of him.
The pitch was, oh, you can take the sword from this game and take it into another game. Yeah. That's kind of the idea that he was sort of pitching with this open ecosystem. And I mean, I guess if they're all built on Unreal Engine, I guess, I don't know how that would necessarily work, but the question still comes up around monetization and, oh, well, if they buy a sword in your game, how do I get money from that? Because they're still going to use it in my game, like I think there's just a lot of, I don't know. He's very optimistic about the idea of everyone playing nice together in what is a competitive and capitalist world.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I'd be shocked to see if that actually worked out like he thinks it will.
No, you're right. Yeah, it's like building all these tools of like, here's what you can do, sort of pitching it, and it's like, well, in real world terms, I'm not sure people are going to play with it the way you're expecting them to play with it.
Also, remember how we talked about the idea of AI being in these games for development and how there have to be some kind of disclosure to an audience about that? Well, Unreal Engine 6 is just going to have it baked in. Like they showed images of Codex or Claude, or it's just there. Like it's part of it. They're even apparently winding down the support for Blueprints. Apparently Blueprints will still be there, but they're not going to just be adding constant updates to it. And I think the reason is they go, well, AI you can literally ask it to do it and it'll help you out with it. So if that's the case, any game that uses Unreal Engine 6 doesn't need the AI disclosure then? Because that's going to be a lot of games.
Yeah, a lot. Because that's the concerning thing, is that they're like accelerating the normalcy of it. Because if it's there, it will get used. And plenty of studios are already using it and not really openly disclosing it.
Well, then should the should the disclosure then be if because the Steam Next Fest thing happened and people were going through and there was like 1,700 games that had the disclosure on it. It was like 40 some odd percent of games. And that's now. Think about after Unreal Engine 6 comes out in like 2 years or so, and people are just using it for lower budget games as well. Is the idea being, oh, the disclosure should basically be, hey, we didn't use AI in this game because it would save them time because you have to assume that most games are.
Yeah. I mean,
handcrafted.
Well, that's the thing is that like there's surely going to be a hook for a lot of teams to do that, to say we didn't touch it whatsoever. That might be the tipping point. I just would like full disclosures. Like recently, the Crazy Taxi people and Legacy of Atlantis for Tomb Raider, like they disclosed it and talked not. I mean, they said as much as I think they can reasonably say, but they talked about like, here's how we're using it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I at the very least, I like that because if you have a moral like stance on it, you can draw your line and then decide from there, like, okay, they didn't teeter over my line. But like nobody's going to do like hardly anybody's really, I think, going to do that once it becomes super normalized.
No. And it's going to basically become the idea of, okay, quietly you understand that most of the games you're about to see in the showcase used a tool that's AI assisted or generative AI for placeholder or even just full art. And I think in like 5 years, it's going to be pretty common. Like I've already been hearing people that, yep, a lot of studios that you just start naming them, they're probably using it. There was that leak from Nintendo. Well, it was like a hack that happened with their employee stuff, and people were going through some of the logs, I guess, that just started to get dumped. And they're kind of talking about using like this is Nintendo of America, using like AI for emails and stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's
Sure.
our browsers have it. Like it's everywhere. I'm looking at what's this, Chrome, and I go to Drive. It's like, hey, Gemini can help you write that. It's like I'm typing the title for Newswave. What are you talking about? Like, stand aside, humans. Like, okay, I'm sorry.
Are you going to use like 2 of your brain cells? Hold on, fam. I got you.
It's really funny how it's like, oh, hey, I can type those words for you. It's like, I mean, I just did it while you were hounding me for it. But I mean, I get the idea of, man, there's a lot of stuff in this Excel sheet. Oh, you can just sort them for me? Okay, go do that real quick. I get that. Mm-hmm. But now I think it's the more generative AI art stuff, because that then comes back to, does that mean you're not hiring as many artists for, and does that mean it's going to look kind of like the AI sort of has a style to it and a look? You know what I mean? Like I start to notice it on YouTube with some of the thumbnails. I'm like, yeah, that's AI. You start to see that it's like highly saturated. Like it doesn't leave any blank spaces. There's always like a wrinkle or like a little bit of dust or explosion. You know what I mean? It's getting easier to pick out now. So,
well, I mean, at least on the topic of YouTube thumbnails, yeah, like you can spot them a mile away. I've seen so many lately now, which tells me, oh yeah, it's becoming very normalized. But it gets, it's to a degree where it's so obvious of like, oh, like we only have one trailer for God of War Lao Fei, or we only have one trailer for Intergalactic, and people are AI generating different poses of those characters because, everyone's using like the same screenshots, the same key art. And it's so obvious to look at like, oh, like Jordan's never looked like that. Somebody just AI, prompted to talk about Intergalactic, and now you have like the main character Jordan A. Munn doing this or some shit. And it's like, it's not the real asset that Naughty Dog has made, but that's just me continuously bitching about this stuff.
It's getting really good too. So it's getting to the point where here's the image of them. Give me like 18 different poses. I can use the thumbnails, and it's just, you just see them rapid firing when you scroll down.
Yeah. I'll still be manually laboring in Photoshop for, I guess, as long as
so Photoshop's like, are you sure you want to do that? We got it. Don't worry.
I mean, there's definitely helpful monotonous AI tools I've used, like just removing things, for example, cutting thing. Yeah. Like, and that's definitely a good AI use case, but second, it gets a little bit too creative and just making shit that doesn't exist. That's tough.
Yeah, kind of reminds me remember back in the day in school, the calculator was like evil. Remember that? It was like in middle school. Dude, if they found a calculator on you, they may as well have found drugs in your locker. They're like, what is this? It's like it's a TI-83. Like, go to the office.
Yeah.
And then you get to high school and they're like, all right, take your calculators out. It's like, hold on a minute. I had to like smuggle this in, and now we can just put it on the desk.
Yeah. And that's times are different. Times are
Yeah.
different.
That's how I'm sure I can't imagine what it's like in school right now for AI. Man, that's got to be in high school, especially. That's got to be crazy.
I've heard it's been pretty bad.
You just have to pay the smart kid to do the homework. Now you just ask the prompt, the web browser.
Yeah, but like now you've got AI detection tools that are calling real work not real work.
Yeah, but what if they get smart enough and you go do the work so that the AI detection thing doesn't detect you?
Well, it's like you got to leave a paper trail now when you're typing a story or something, or a thesis. Like you have, or just pull out a goddamn piece of pen and paper. We're going backwards, baby.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. Although then people can just ask the AI and then they just write it down.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
And then the people who are like really like, hey, generate an image of me writing this on a paper so I can print it out.
Well, it won't look good if on paper the thesis is like that's a great question. Here's what's going down. And then they bullet point it, and then towards the bottom line, this is the end of my report. You don't have anything to worry about. And it's like written, it's handwritten. Like that's not gonna work.
Man, that's I'm waiting for the one company to come out and be like, we made this entire game with AI. Like there's no one who works in the studio. It's one person runs it. AI did this whole thing. That is going to be a point of some people are going to be like, man, I really hope this game's bad. But what if it's really good?
Well, that's like the tagline for it's going to be like this one man AI prompted 17,000 times, and this is the result.
What if it's just really, really good? That might be the end of gaming. That might be it. It might be over.
John, I fully expect that would happen, and it will probably happen. I think it's more a matter of like when.
You know what we'll do then? Then we can go back and like the whole podcast can be about us picking out random PS2, PS1, PS3 games and PS4, like all the older generation, and we just go over all the cool games that were out then, handcrafted.
Handcrafted. Yeah. Well, we're gonna die soon anyway, so
unless AI solves that too, could cure aging.
They're the ones that are gonna do it.
Mm.
Take us over. Remember, we got to build a bunker and keep old consoles in there.
They'll keep the ones alive who can do cursive. You can write cursive. I'm picturing robots. I'm like, man, that's probably the thing that like with their like it's gonna be hard to get the swooshing and stuff right for cursive.
Yeah, they'll figure that out too.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right, John. I got two quick ones for you, real quick. Mm-hmm. PlayStation Productions. Jason Momoa is no longer in the Helldivers movie. Nothing. You got nothing for me. Okay.
Let me ask AI. I'll give you something in a second. No, it's I don't. What was he gonna do with Helldivers? I assume he's just gonna be
a star.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, so in Helldivers, I assume they're just gonna have like a ragtag group of people, and they're gonna just be going through this universe, this world.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's still being directed by Justin Lin, scheduled for November 10th, 2027.
Okay. You think he would? No, because he can play roles where he's not silly. Although Helldivers kind of calls for some silly characters, though.
It has to be.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he would have done. It wasn't scheduled. Was it scheduling conflicts at all? Or do you think it was just.
I didn't look into it that much. It was just Deadline reporting it.
Okay.
And then Mark Hamill joins the 3rd season of Twisted Metal.
Man, I still have to watch that show. Still haven't watched it.
You could do the first 2 seasons and let me know how Mark Hamill is somehow going. how he's somehow getting. No, I'm probably not going to watch it.
Oh man,
not anytime soon.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what role he'll play, but I'm sure he'll be good at it.
We can cover up the rest of the chats and get into PSX.
Let's see. We have here we go. Claw says, what's sad is other PC launchers would be fine if Epic hadn't poisoned the well with third-party exclusives. Even Origin and Uplay weren't that hated. They were just kind of there. People were just kind of like, about them. You know, Epic did kind of get hated pretty bad because they did the timed exclusivity things.
A lot.
Yeah. Toasty says, Sony needs to delay Kena 2 to 2027. It's 2-pack this year, and I don't want it to fail. Oh, yeah, it's supposed to come out this year.
I mean, it probably is delayed because they, 3 major events came and went and nothing.
That's true.
Happened.
That's true. I just don't.
GTA 6.
I'm looking at the release schedule. It's tough. Maybe they do that like the first week of December or something. I don't know.
Maybe like first week of January. I'd take that.
I would take the January release might be good for that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fallout 4 says, when will we be getting a remake for the first LTPS episode? We love the remaster, but we are all ready for the remake.
Yeah, John, I think it was back in 2017 or 18. I like refilmed LTPS 1 and called it a remaster.
Oh, that's clever. That's clever.
Yeah. Well, now I think I guess I got to remake it now too.
Okay, that's good. What was the topics back then?
Oh, LTPS 1 had one topic. It was Call of Duty PS Vita. Is it going to be good?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Well,
Yeah.
Ranks just says no. But no.
I think he
spoiler.
Yeah, no, he sent that when we were talking about the mini games, I think. Because he said he didn't like doing them, and I was like, yeah, there's still more mini games or something.
Bobo says, we always ask Ryan if he beat Rebirth, but never ask him what he actually thought of the game. Also, I hope Final Fantasy IX Remake still happens. And Remake apparently got shelved. It'd be nice if they came back to it, but did you like Rebirth?
I was about to say, we still don't care about what I think about the game.
Oh, I think you liked Rebirth.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you liked it. Although the grind for platinum probably made you rethink some of that, but
that patch is out. I could like cheat my ass through it now, basically, if I wanted to.
Oh, that's true. Okay, yeah.
I won't.
The Axiom says you're going to get Knights of the Round by winning a boss fight against Chadley. Oh man,
that would be pretty underwhelming. It should be very much the world discovery,
Yeah, that'd be cool. They'll probably put it behind some super boss or something.
They'll probably give it a big plot line, if anything.
You think so? Yeah, I mean, I can see that, but it like builds up to some kind of like there's going to be like a skill check boss, I'm sure, that you have to beat to get it. I don't think it's going to necessarily just hand it to you as part of the story.
Yeah.
Thought Gardner says, wasn't there a Gears build on PS3 history repeating? There was. Yeah, it actually got out there too. People were playing it.
Yeah, but that build was never like commercially like ever poised to ship on PS3.
No.
Whereas apparently E-Day very much was going to be a product to buy.
Illustrious says GoldenEye 10 out of 10, First Light 7 out of 10. I think First Light is a solid 8.5 out of 10.
Wow, those are high marks, John.
Oh, that's one you can play, Ryan. First Light. Go play First Light. That's a good game for you. Platinum's not bad either.
I don't care for the Bond property.
Okay. Never mind.
It's kind of like Indiana Jones. Like I hear it's good, but I don't care for Indiana Jones like that.
Okay. Bespoke says Microsoft built Ninja Theory that mocap space after they bought them, so I imagine Microsoft would keep it. Well, okay, so that kind of changes some things. Then, if that's the case, thanks, Bespoke. Imagine it being like you can leave. We're keeping this, okay? And it's just like this awkward thing of like you can go now.
You can go now.
Claw says Spencer telling studios not to worry about profit, according to Schreier, but doing nothing to keep them at least on time is incredibly irresponsible. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about the questionable management, we'll say, at Xbox over the last decade at this point.
All right.
Dave says if Prototype gets remade, will it be Xbox exclusive? I'd like to see something with Prototype. I think that'd be cool.
Who owns Prototype?
Isn't that Activision?
Is it Activision? I know. I see that came out around the time that Infamous came out, and it always felt like a worse Infamous to me.
See, I like Prototype. I thought Prototype 1 was fun. I don't know. I haven't played. I'll admit I have not played it in a while, but I always thought that was a fun game.
Hmm.
Probably I'll
Would
probably
be
go back. I go back and play it and be like, ooh, oh yeah, okay. Well, let's see. That's Activision Blizzard. Yeah, okay.
Okay. I don't remember the publisher of that.
Let's see. Toasty says Elder Scrolls 6 coming 2029, exclusive to next gen $1,300 Xbox console. It'll also be on PC, but you'll probably need like a $1,300 PC to play it well. I mean, I don't know. It's just everything's expensive now, so I don't know. It's tough out there. Or through the cloud. Hey, play through the cloud. Look at that. Just $15, $20 a month. Claw says Xbox's services revenue has been declining. Their retention numbers must be awful if they're giving exclusivity another likely last ditch shot. Yeah, 3% accountability margin. They're going to try to fix that by getting rid of a lot of people, cutting costs. But if they're declining, that means they just keep laying people off to try to fix the cost. So, Toasty says, I first encountered Master Chief in Fortnite on PS4. Halo on PlayStation is only a big deal if you're old. Well, so Master Chief is Fortnite. It's like that's like how people find characters in Smash Brothers, even though they have a long running series before that. And they're like, oh, it's a Smash Brothers guy.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Anyone you think that's the PlayStation All-Stars guy?
Well, probably like Sir Dan Fortescue, like Toro Inoue, stuff like that.
Man,
and you look at Sir Dan, you're like, oh, look, it's the skeleton guy from PS All Stars.
Toasty says Herman will be a runner and marathon as Enter Song Be Hot in Here by Nelly.
Oh my god. Oh geez.
Tay says, Ryan, where did you get your Blue Eyes blanket? It's cool ASF.
I think they're still on Amazon. It's like $50, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Amazon pickup. Very nice.
They got Blue Eyes and the Dark Magician starter deck Yugi arts on there. So
what about the Red Eyes Black Dragon? That was a cool one.
They did not make a blanket for that. I'm pretty sure. But there's like a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh merch out there nowadays for like a lifestyle, like clothing and accessories. So there's a lot of cool stuff out there.
It's probably too aggressive. Oh well. For a blanket, All right, Ryan, hit us with the PSX. Gonna give it to you.
It's time for PS, the topic of the show where we go over something cool, old, nostalgic, or neat about PlayStation history, teach the kiddos something they didn't know about PlayStation.
Handcrafted, too. Handcrafted intro there. Not AI generated.
That is most certainly handcrafted, but it was also stolen from the DMX estate.
Whoa.
What do we got here? Let's do this one. I mentioned Tomb Raider earlier. So Crystal Dynamics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tomb Raider. So Crystal Dynamics was the first non-Japanese developer to work on the PlayStation. And that was because Mark Cerny worked there. So previously he was at Sega Japan, where he learned to read and write in Japanese. So when he got to Crystal Dynamics, he had connections in Japan, and he was able to read and sign the contracts to get a PS1 dev kit. So that's how the first non-Japanese developer got a PlayStation 1. It was Crystal Dynamics, because Mark Cerny could read and write Japanese. He was the only one that could do the damn paperwork.
Was that Total Eclipse or Off-World Interceptor?
Well, if that would have been their original name.
Well, no. I mean, I see the games they released.
The first game, you mean?
Yeah, I had to double check because I was like, man, that's been back in the 90s.
I don't even remember what the first game. Yeah, I don't even remember what the first game was.
Total Eclipse and Off-World Interceptor came out back in 1994 from Crystal Dynamics on the PlayStation and the 3DO, and then the Sega Saturn.
For a second, I'm like, wait, did Crystal Dynamics were they not named Crystal Dynamics from the beginning? But yeah. So it would have been, it must have been Total Eclipse, right? Must have been.
Total Eclipse, I think, would have been their first PS1 game, because they also had Crash and Burn, but that was a 3DO game in 93. Yeah, people forget how long Crystal Dynamics has been around, by the way. It's been a long time.
Well, it's like sometimes when you talk about these studios in the 90s too, it's like that wasn't their name back then.
No, yeah.
They
also did Gex on the PS1 and the Saturn and the 3DO. They're going crazy on the 3DO. They did Samurai Showdown on 3DO.
Yeah, I
And they
did a
got
lot of
for
3D
baseball.
3DO stuff.
Mm-hmm. They did. They were big supporters of that 3DO. That's interesting. Huh. And then they did some Dreamcast stuff too early on. Look at that. They got Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, Walt Disney World Quest Magical Racing Tour.
I do love how this is one of those studios where they like did some of those early thousands games that were on so many systems. So Tomb Raider Legend was on GameCube, PS2, PS3, PSP, Windows, Xbox, and Xbox 360.
And
were they the developer on all? Oh my god, I think they were.
That game like is so different between some of these different versions. I bet you it is. Like I bet you that I actually have to look. Maybe I'm thinking of the PSP versus say the PS3 or 360 version, for example. I'd be curious to see how those measure up.
There's no way Crystal did all these versions, but apparently Tomb Raider Legend was on PS2, Windows, Xbox, Xbox 360, PSP, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, GameCube, and PS3.
I might be a little more impressed with Tomb Raider Anniversary because that was on Mac OS, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation Portable, Wii, Windows, and Xbox 360.
But no DS and no Game Boy Advance.
No, but Mac OS, like what? Who was porting anything to Mac OS back then?
Yeah, that one's definitely weird, but I always love when it's like DS and Game Boy Advance got a version. That always is like, oh, so we're really like, because DS you got two screens, and then Game Boy Advance, that's easily the lowest denominator where that game has to be so different.
Right. Man, that's something else. Jeez.
Underworld was on Mac OS as well.
Oh, look at this. So check this out, right? These are some of the games they published. Check this out. They published The Horde in 1994 on the 3DO, the MS-DOS, PlayStation, Sega Saturn. And guess who the developer was? So Crystal Dynamics was the publisher. The developer was Toys for Bob.
Oh, yeah.
That's so random, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Toys for Bob's got a really long they got a big, no, they don't got a big CV. I'm lying.
That is so random. Huh. I mean, the game actually did all right. It got like Famitsu gave it a 9 out of 10. Jeez, on the 3DO. Wow. The Horde must have been a good game. Have not played it. Hybrid action strategy video game. Okay. We'll go with that. There you go. Crystal Dynamics and their long-running history that involves Mark Cerny and getting on the PlayStation early. PSX going to give it to you coming through.
It was literally a matter of just signing documents, and we needed somebody that could speak and write Japanese.
There it is.
Mark did that.
Okay. Good stuff. I think that's everything. Got all the chats done.
That's all I've got for you, folks.
Shout out to everyone coming through. It's going to be a couple weeks. Too many games coming up, so I'll be out there, and it'll be probably pretty crazy there, but it'll be fun. If you're coming out, come on by. You'll see a bunch of the crew there. It'll be a good time. I think that is everything, though. Yep, we are good. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Appreciate it. Oh, wait, Toasty's in. Toast says you guys should have went live last Thursday. That was the 2-year anniversary of Click R3.
It was?
I didn't realize that.
We've been doing this show 2 years already?
Has it been 2 years? I mean, I guess we're on episode 48 and we were every 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't feel like it's been long because of every 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's a pretty free-flowing, easy show, every 2 weeks. It's like, come on. And also for a while there, we weren't even live streaming it,
Yeah. Well, the first, like 10 or so episodes was not live streamed.
Thank you, Jessa. It's almost we stream. It's almost midnight here. We were streaming, man. We were in it.
Yeah, it's not the most flattering comment, but I appreciate it, my man. Thank you.
Hey, we're streaming late. This isn't a 9 p.m. West Pacific time pickup. All right, we're in it.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Do all over again. We'll see you guys then.